Sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. If all the things you never show, there are the things I want you to know. Secrets start in your heart to slow. But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Losing almost all my energy. It's getting hard to talk to you, and I'm the only one who speaks. It's all the things you never show. There are the things I want to know. Secrets start in your heart to slow. But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know.
Okay, hey guys, welcome to the live. I tried to get my cat out of the room before we went live because she's meowing like crazy. And do you think she would go? No, she went underneath the bed and started meowing, and then she's back out again meowing. But
she did.
anyways, so sorry about running late here, you guys. Thank you for joining the live. Can you hear her?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what they say about pets being like their owners?
I was gonna say, Adam, just take over for a sec. Let me get this thing out of here before she drives me crazy. 1 second. I'm gonna go give her some cat food. 1
I
second.
don't think anyone would expect Sunny to have a cat that, was like, docile and like,
Yeah, no kidding.
obedient and quiet.
This one's Bambi, and he's what we call the like psycho bee here. But look at her. It's like she's talking, like
Yeah.
like let me out, give me some food. See, 1 second.
Sunny's poor husband is surrounded by boisterous women.
So how was your day?
It was a day, I babysat my niece all day, so I watched Frozen. I watched part of Frozen 2.
All good
I
choices.
pretended to eat cupcakes, and I pretended to eat ice cream cones for like hours upon end. To which she would say, strawberry, banana, peach. She would just name flavors and then like hand me like something.
Well, there are
Typically
definitely
crayons.
worse ways to spend your day. So that's not so bad.
Absolutely. It was a pretty perfect day.
Good.
But I didn't do much work today.
On there. Sorry, guys. Okay.
How about your Charmaine?
Oh, it was okay. I took the day off and I spent most of it in bed.
Like,
talking to
no,
Sunny.
it was me. Yeah.
Yeah.
You spent the day in bed with Sunny?
Pretty
Yes.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Has been approved. I think she was the spoon and I was the knife, I think. In this
Yeah.
You guys, Alexa, I know we said earlier she was going to be on tonight again. So she says she might join. She's not really still feeling well with her ear and stuff like that. So everything had to change. So we're just basically what we wanted to go through tonight. Well, if Alexa was on, we were going to go through the stuff because Alexa's a criminal profiler and there's stuff that she had said and stuff that say Fortson had said. I always want to say Fortson. No, it's not right.
Fortson.
I know, and I always want to say Fortson.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know, I've spelled that wrong twice now where I had to go back and, oh, shoot, got to go fix the title. But anyways, so that's, a lot of it was going to be about that. And then I wanted Adam to grab posts, that were pre-memorandum drop or things that sounded, you know what I mean? Definitely like having the knowledge,
Mhm.
kind of like the whole Richard Whiteman thing and stuff like that, previous to when, before we even knew about it. Bottom line is, we know that there was a leak from Mitch Westerman to Robert Kyle Fortson to Mark Roberts. So those are things that like we know happened. And so then it was just a matter of, going over the different things. Now, I want to say this afternoon, again, I really have enjoyed this gentleman's thoughts. And unfortunately, like I said, he's no longer on this, earth, sadly. But
Mhm.
he really had, like, it just, like I said, I well-rounded thoughts. And
Yeah.
he would kind of say, well, like, was the sticks, say accidental or intentional, or did it, you know what I mean? I like the fact that he was very balanced in his thinking,
Right.
and kind of like clear and concise about what you were reading, even if you didn't have the full conversation, because this is a deleted, account. So when you go click on, say, a file, it's not there because the account's deleted and stuff like that. But you really got the gist still of what he was
Yeah.
saying
And
throughout and stuff like that. But hey, guys, so
he also really seemed to have a sense of humor,
yeah,
in a lot of his posts, which I mean, and I always appreciate that with anyone that I talk to.
what
And
was
I
it?
never talked to him, but when reading through some of his posts, I was like, oh, he could throw out a good zinger every once in a while, and I always appreciate that.
Me
Yeah.
too. It's just that mixture. And then, because what was it, like a jobber and a curtain jerker or something like that? And I mean, you can tell it's kind of like, it was almost like, well, like, quit being an idiot. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. But he came off, I swear, like he used the word moot. And, like, so for someone that's not a lawyer, usually wouldn't use the word moot unless they've heard it, probably from
Right.
a lawyer. Right, Travis? I think I saw Travis in the house earlier on there. So let's just say hellos. Hi, Miranda. Hi, Diana. How are you? Gail's in the house. Sharon Parker. And yeah, it's Friday. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm feeling really tired. You know when you take a nap? Because that's what I did. I was like, I need an hour and a half nap. This has been a long few days or whatever. I just need a nap. And then you're just like, oh, I just know. And you're like, no, oh no. All right, here we go. So because I wasn't sure exactly what was going on tonight at like the half-hour mark for the live, I'm like racing around, making a thumbnail, sharing it to the social media, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, and then the cat starts meowing. And I'm just like, come on, really? There's missing. How are you?
Right.
But it's Friday. And then tomorrow, don't forget, guys, our Canadian true crime one will be probably at I believe probably 4 my time, which is PST, and then that would be 7. Is that okay? Is that a good time, Charmaine?
Yep.
Like last time?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good.
And we're going to be covering Russell Williams for that. Charmaine's putting in a lot of work. So if actually, Charmaine, before we get started tonight, just give people just a quick gist of Russell
Oh
Williams.
yeah.
Russell Williams, it was a colonel in our military services. He is quite high ranking, and there was a long series of break and enterings and really bizarre circumstances where women's underwear and some sex toys and stuff like that would go missing. And he graduated to SA, and from there he committed a couple of murders and some, I guess, old school investigation work. They found him pretty quickly, and the interrogation that Jim Smith did with Russell Williams, people actually say it's going to be part of the FBI interrogation training program because it was just textbook. It was so well done. He was able to get a
Wow.
full conversation or full confession out of him within, I think, I think the entire confession lasted about 5 hours. But yeah, he got the tippy top of our military to confess within that relatively short amount of time. So it's a it's a crazy, crazy case to think of the status that this man held in Canada. He flew the Queen, he flew Prince Philip, he flew our Prime Minister. Like he was a well trusted, high ranking military official, and a serial killer.
Isn't it SK? SK.
Sorry, SK. I'm
Just
still learning.
I know. I was gonna say SK. It's just because we try to limit, like the amount of times that we say
Yeah.
certain words.
And with podcasts, we don't have to do that, right?
I
We say
know.
what we're going to say because we're either going to get ad revenue or we're not. It's that simple.
Yeah, on
And
podcasts we
Charmaine,
can say whatever.
Yeah.
for anyone that wants to check out your podcast, can you let everyone know the name of it and where they can find it?
Well, it's called True Crime Story Podcast, and we're on, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, anywhere that you get your podcasts. Later on, when Sunny gets going with her content, I'll go and dig out my link and I'll put it in. I'll put it in the
Yeah.
chat for y'all. And
Because it's only, I think, recently, because, when we talked about this, you weren't feeling comfortable really to drop the link at the point, but now that
don't get me wrong, like we have I think something we're going towards 30,000 downloads, so it's not like we're brand new. It's just our equipment isn't that great, and we're just normal people, mom and daughter, who enjoy reading and learning about true crime and kind of researching and telling these stories that we're interested in. And so you're not going to get no HLN down the hill quality anything. It's just me
No.
and my daughter kind of telling a story and reacting to it as we go. So it's fun, and it keeps us both kind of preoccupied from the day to day. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's not like
Right.
I'm ashamed of our work or anything. It's just it was never my intention to make it anything huge or make a bunch of money off it or anything. It was literally a hobby that we've both
Yes.
kind of
Yeah.
Well, you
really
know what?
gotten into.
I could listen to your voice 24 hours a day. So
Isn't
I
that
encourage
well,
anyone that
thank
wants
you.
to go find it and listen to. I've never heard your daughter's voice, but I
No,
encourage
and
everyone.
my daughter has got the way she thinks about things and the things that she comes up with to say are just it'll make you shake your head, but she's got such a great wit and sense of humor and just a unique way of seeing things. And
Well,
it's my favorite. Like I can go back and listen to her episodes over and over again, and even her reaction to some of mine, it makes me giggle. In some of the darker stories, she just has this way of keeping it light. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
well, I know what I'm doing tonight when I go to bed. So
She's very talented. She's very talented. Yeah.
Well, I know for a fact that I'm not going to bed listening to your voice tonight, Adam. That I do know.
Well, I've done that more than once, to be honest with you. You both have put me to sleep more times than I'd like to admit. Let me tell you.
You know who used to, there was, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Plunder, but her voice was so
Oh
monotone.
my gosh,
It
I
just
know.
made you fall asleep. And you
Yeah.
were just like, I think I'll put Plunder on because I listened, and then it was just so monotone. It was just like, oh. And then
Yeah.
take no offense to that, but sometimes there's just those voices that are just like, yeah, this should do it.
well,
Yeah.
it'll give me a nice break from going to bed on normally how I do with Tom Webster.
See, and I find him so interesting. I can't fall asleep listening to Tom because I'm like, what is he going to say next?
Charmaine, so you said you fall asleep to Sunny and I, but not to Tom?
Right.
Well,
Okay.
because he's such a data nerd and he's got everything like spread out on spreadsheets and you got to watch. It's just,
Yeah.
it's next level.
You know, except for when he gets one of his laughs in there, right? When it's, when Tom's talking, and then he goes, ah.
Right. There's burping.
Yeah. The burps.
Anyways, okay, you guys. So again, so what we wanted to do on this one was just kind of go back to some of the things from the other night of things that was like, and just kind of revisit them with some of the people that maybe haven't heard of it, but just kind of go revisit back to those leaky type moments on there. And it's 21 degrees, Burr. It's 2 degrees. 2 degrees here. Shelly. Wait a second.
What do you mean with turkey log? Sorry, Gail, what are you talking about? Listening to, with turkey. Oh, I get you. Turkey coma, right? I got you. I got
flag.
you.
Yeah, I'm bad for
Cool.
not using those either. Little commas in there. Brr.
No, no, I didn't know what she meant by turkey. I thought it said turkey log, and I was like, what the fuck was I talking about? Was I talking about turkey?
Yeah.
No, I get it. She ate too much turkey. I get it.
Yeah. She said, Charmaine, did you have so much turkey that you got turkey farts? That's what I call them. Turkey farts. The turkey is very gassy, though it is. I'm not going to get into that topic because Adam's going to turn off. Well, he's got his camera turned off right now, anyway, and all that on there. But anyways, Mr. Electric. Okay, so Adam, let's get going on some of these ones here. And so the first one, so you know when you send me stuff, and then I have to go put it back in order. But the first one I have up.
Well, I sent them in order.
Well, that doesn't mean that they necessarily come in order.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You know how that is with paper, even, right?
Yeah. And and I only made it through like half of August, so there are probably more.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, again, the live was intended to be with Alexa being here and her having screenshots of things that she had talked about with the crime scene. So it was just, sometimes you have to switch stuff up, and that's exactly what happened.
Right.
And so, but this was I wanted both to be part of tonight's live.
Of
So
course, and I was skimming through them, so I easily could have missed a few, but these are the ones that stood out to me. And who knows, maybe rereading them, some of them won't stand out to me as much, but
yeah. Well, I was gonna say. So the first one that I have starts with this "and" at the top. I'm not sure if you meant to show that one or is it the one underneath on there? Because this one says, and then we haven't heard anything since. I'm thinking the investigation must be tight-lipped for some reason we aren't privy to, or else they would just say what happened. The military beat it out of me, quitting after you were already fired. What was that?
I think that I took the screenshot
Just random?
because it says it says that covered in sticks there may have been a cultish type emblem left.
Which one? Where is that?
That was on the one you.
Oh, this one here.
Yeah.
Okay. So just read the whole comment there, I guess.
It just says the only rumor I think that we have heard about staging that seemed remotely credible was that the bodies or one of them were covered in sticks and there may have been a cultish type emblem left. I think I saw both stick arranged that way or carved in a tree there.
Right.
Everything else hasn't rang true or feasible. And I don't know, because this was June, but when he says I think I saw both stick arranged that way,
right? Exactly.
Or it carved in a tree somewhere. Both those ended up being a part of this, so who knows. I did actually find the comment that was above that though, quitting after you're already fired. Was Robert Fortson a psychic?
Oh. But who's it referring to?
Well, who quit after they were going to be fired?
No, like seriously, my brain. I'm looking to you to fill in my brain here so I can go, oh yeah, okay.
But he said like a number of things that ended up coming true about the defense and everything that's happening now. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Like he had some really great insight, or he was psychic, one of the two.
And good instinct on what he was getting information on. Charmaine, did you watched the stream last night, right? So like you were aware of most of these comments?
Most of them. I was kind of heavily medicated with the flu, so I was kind of in and out, but I did catch quite a bit of it. I did. It was interesting, but that was one of those nights where I kept falling asleep to you guys talking. It was great. It was great.
I'm still waiting for you to answer me about the quitting before getting fired.
Oh yeah, Adam.
I already answered you.
No, you didn't. Who?
I said, well, who quit because they were given an ultimatum.
Oh, you're talking about the lawyers.
Yeah, I said, was Robert Fortson psychic? Because
yeah, no, I still wasn't.
The quitting before getting fired thing was a comment on some other Reddit post that had nothing to do with Delphi. I was just joking.
Yeah, but I still didn't connect it. I was like, who are you talking about still? But okay, so you're referring to the lawyers on that one. Okay, so and again, so right when you read that, it struck me as odd too, just when you said I think, but both stick arranged that way, or it carved in a tree there. That one just kind of sounds, not sure what honestly to make of that one.
Well, but when he says, I think I saw both
Right?
stick arranged that way or it
Yeah,
carved in a tree,
yeah.
I'm like,
Well,
it could
right,
have just been the wording, but
but it came off like, well, because it makes it seem like something, saw something, obviously on that one. Jermaine, did you have anything to say to this one, or else we'll go to the next one?
No, go to the next one. My dogs are being jerks. Go ahead. They're
Okay,
barking.
I can hear my husband yelling, gaming too. Okay, so let's see. My husband, yeah, going in there. I was recording a message to, I think it was Charmaine the other day, and all of a sudden at the end of it, what did my husband say? Something about wanker at the end.
I can't remember, but man, it was funny. It was so funny.
Yeah, all of a sudden it was like, nah, get him, you wanker, or something, you stupid wanker, or something like that. And I'm just like, and it was the only thing was because Adam, it was because a message popped up, and then I have to click off of it, but the recording was still going, and I was just like, well, I
okay.
am saying it, so here, send, and then all of a sudden my husband,
Yeah, it wasn't wanker either. It was wanka.
wanker, oh yeah, right,
Wanka.
wanker, the way it comes off. Okay, so this one here, this is very poignant question to ask regarding this specific topic. Those statements from witnesses we haven't seen, and all of the discovery too. By the way, and this is, I think I'd have to look at the date. Did you cut the date off, or did I cut the date off?
July 4th.
Yeah, okay, that was July 4th. Okay,
Yeah.
there it is. This thing is going to get more wild before it gets clear, I'm afraid. And that's just kind of goes in with a lot of the stuff he was referencing about, like, just hold on to the seat of your pants because this thing's going to get wild, because he knew.
Yeah.
Like he knew about the whole Frank's motion. And it was clear. Remember about,
Well, and even anyone could speculate that it was going to get weird or was going to get wild, but it's the sentence right before that I thought was interesting, because it's where he references those statements from witnesses we haven't seen and all the discovery too, by the way. So he's already referencing things that are going to come up in that memorandum.
uh-huh,
And what was the date on this one?
July 4th.
Yeah.
I mean, because the one that keeps striking me is obviously back. What month was it that he started saying Rick Whitman, Alan Whitman, or whatever it was? What
I think
month
we're
was
about to
it?
see it.
Is it in this month? Okay.
Yeah.
So was there anything else on this one here? There was a current belief
No.
that all sides, no connection between RA and
Was that the same one?
yeah, this is the same one.
Well, I mean, on July 4th, I don't think we had any confirmation that the defense wasn't looking into Keegan Klein or Johnny Klein. So
yeah,
that could have been an indication that he had some knowledge.
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next one. Let's see here.
And of course, some of these things are going to be speculative as far as our interpretation of what he's saying, because he's not here, so we don't know.
Previous to this, though, he kept making comments. Like it's like he kept making certain comments, but then as it went on, it was almost like someone opening up more and being like, "This, like, shit's gonna get the shit."
And I feel like you can see his demeanor change towards his opinion on one thing, towards being open to something else. And he even references it a few times, which I don't think I have any screenshots of this in here, but when he's like, he almost talks about how he may believe one thing, but he's bringing an argument out for something else, which is interesting to me.
Oh, man. So I heard this. I heard this noise, and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. So all of a sudden I heard "I love you," and it sounded like sock, 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 socks like this. And so I'm like, wait a second. And then I see the Streamlabs. So the merchandise site from, well, the merch site is connected to Streamlabs. So when somebody purchases something, it goes off. And so that's what it was. And so I was just looking in the Streamlabs to see that Metal Mama Michelle has tipped 11.95. Um,
Hey.
so she just literally went in there and did a tip because there's that little
Oh,
space
what's
I
good to
think
see
in
you,
there.
Metal Michelle.
Yeah, I know. I sent her a thing the other day. So if you guys don't remember Metal Mama Michelle, she was like coming on some lives and just a really great lady. And then she started having some medical issues with her eyes. And so it's been a minute, like that, like what happened was she was on vacation, Christmas and stuff, and then just like a lot of stuff went down, like, and you guys know, right, Gail, a lot of stuff went down. And so I had made her a picture, like, a thumbnail in a sense, saying I missed her, of course, and that because I'm always thinking about her. If sometimes you just kind of get going and doing stuff, but you're thinking about certain people because in some way that they impacted your life in a good way. And I was just like, and sometimes I just leave people alone until they're ready to kind of like, either message or talk and stuff like that and whatever. So I thought I'd make her one because, I know that she will like things when I put them out there and that, but I just wanted to let her know that she's missed. And anytime that she ever wants to come do a live again, whenever she's ready, right? Like whenever, because like I'm not living her life. I don't know what sort of hell she's going through with her eyes. And I know Lewis, remember Lewis was having trouble with his eyes, and then Deb, she was getting like her eyes burnt out from staring at us all the time. And it seemed like everyone was having these eye issues, and me and Adam are like, is it because of us? Like, what is going on here? So yeah, like I mean, your eyesight is so important, right? I mean, so
Mm.
it throws your life in a loop when stuff like that, things happen medically. You guys know that. Most of us are old in here. We know this, right? Right, Sharon Parker? Right,
Speak
Gail?
for yourself.
So, anyways, Meadow Mama Michelle is really loved, and thank you so much for doing that, Michelle. So I forget about the Streamlabs. That's all. It's just that's why I was like thinking that maybe you guys had something going off. Okay, so did you just go answer to this one here at all? The one that's in front of us, Adam.
Um,
I don't know. I just
Were we talking about this one yet?
I don't think so.
How do you know he doesn't fit the description given by the witness? Haven't see you picked these out, so I'm not sure because there's a few
well,
in
I
there.
think isn't this the same one that says this is very poignant question to ask in regards to this specific topic? The statements from witnesses we haven't seen and all the discovery too. The
Oh, so
thing
you,
it's going to
you
get more
doubled it.
wild before it gets more clear. I'm afraid.
Oh, so you sent me the same one? Oh, that's what happened then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. That's all. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. All right. I was just hitting download, download, download. Okay,
Yeah.
so with this one right
Yeah. And
here.
I didn't take the time to crop the
Yeah,
screenshot.
I know that. I know that. I was like, darn it, Adam, you didn't crop them. Because I was confused which was the one you were
If I'd taken the time to crop them, we would have had like 4 pictures to look at because I take forever to do everything.
Yeah, that's all good. I know because sometimes I crop. Usually, I try to crop them as I do them myself. Because I always regret it if I don't do it. Then, then I have to go back and crop them all. So this one says the guy looked like what beyond the clothes. It's possible a group of young girls saw him in passing. The one lady,
I think it's the second one. It's the
second
one under
one. I was
that
gonna
that I
say.
was screenshotting.
Okay. I think that two different groups of credible and necessary witnesses have two different descriptions. Someone is obviously dead set on the perp being a younger male. I think they are mistaken. The only positive that I believe they all said that the man on the bridge is who they saw. I'm trying to verify that now. Well, that's nothing about
Well,
knowing.
no, it is only because until that memorandum came out, we didn't know that there were witness statements that differed because we only had the information from the PCA. And in the PCA, they don't mention necessarily that what Betsy Blair saw was different than what Sarah Carborough saw. The only discrepancies we had were in the juvenile witness statements, and that was just about the clothing.
Right, that was about the clothing in the
Right.
PCA.
But when we read the memorandum, they talk about a much younger man, what Betsy Blair saw, which is what
The
led to
20-year-old.
the young bridge guy sketch.
Yeah.
And then the discrepancy of like with Sarah Carborough and the tan jacket.
Yeah. So where did that even come from? Like the whole tan jacket. How did it
Oh,
go from?
according to the ex-defense team, it came from Sarah Carborough's statement, which they alluded to the fact that Tony Liggett lied and about.
Right.
And I think that could be, I don't know, maybe I'm way off, but I think that could be what that brown thing is sticking out from the blue coat. I think that it could be mistaken as tan. And I think literally he took his blue coat off, maybe tied it around his waist or whatever, but that could very well be what was seen.
I think that there was the blue jacket on top, which we know. There was probably a tannier jacket, perhaps underneath, like a hoodie of some sort, or some sort of other lighter jacket, or something like that was tan. That thing that's on the side of his hip is not, to me, at all any sort of T-shirt. There's at all. That is some sort of fanny pack, whatever you want to call it. People call it kill kit, whatever, fanny pack. But that doesn't mean that there's not maybe a piece of brown material underneath on that one. So obviously, if he's going down the street, you wouldn't probably notice, I don't know, on navy blue, you're probably not going to notice all this. If you'd notice brown dried mud, perhaps, but the blood would kind of soak in to a dark blue. Like it would stand out so much more if it was a tan jacket. And, because, you would think that that's why he was bulked up, was to, take off the one jacket, whatever with that one, and then basically have something else that, obviously was totally different than the blue jacket. That's what I kind of think that would have happened, Dick. No?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense that someone is not going to walk down a street all bloody and muddy and in this blue jacket that you would hardly be able to tell because it's so dark on dark navy, but it would be more visible to an eye. So, it could have been like how the Rick Whiteman thing got twisted around. I don't know. We don't know. I don't know that. I don't think it was intentional. I think that the defense would try to make us believe it was just a bold-faced lie, you know. But we already know that, things can get twisted to certain mistakes. Like it's not that they went out of their way to lie. Just that kind of like how Rick Whiteman ended up, like, that was just sloppiness on Dan Doolin's part and whatever. But it's not like, I don't think he did it intentionally to like screw over the case, even though he did, in a sense. I don't know. So to me, that's not like, oh, you should be reprimanded because you said blue instead of tan or something. And I think, again, it just comes to them portraying to us. They just want everyone to believe, like, Tony Leggett, you liar, this is about Odinism, and those runes look like Odinism, and to any fool that sees them, it must be Odinism, type of thing. It's just, to me, more shit on top of their other shit, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see that being. What about you guys?
I agree. Totally.
I feel like we need upper pills right now, the whole lot of us.
Well, the flu is going around.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm allergic to Hada. Adam.
Yeah.
You okay?
You were going to say something. What were you gonna say?
But I was gonna say, well, I mean, I find a lot of things about. I mean, I could go on for like hours and hours about the odinist theory, but someone had mentioned something to me earlier today, and it's kind of resonated with me as far as we know that like Becky has said that that the girl going to the bridge was a last minute decision. I know there's things that point towards that may or may not have been the case, but if you have this large group of Odinists or Odinites, as Tom Webster hates to hear, um, that apparently planned this ritual, they would have had to have done for that to work. You would have had to have had a group of people that all got together. They conspired to commit this crime. They conspired to do it. If you read the memorandum by the ex-defense team, their motive was that they were upset at the fact that one of the girls' mothers was in a mixed relationship,
Ridiculous.
racially wise. So you have Becky Patty saying the girls decided to go to the bridge at the last minute, but yet you have Odinists that all planned on committing this crime on this day. They were completely set up. They were all there. Were they all down the hill? Where were they? We don't know. Where was their DNA? We don't know. Elvis Fields lived in Rushfield. He's been accused in the memorandum. He lived over 2 hours away. He did not have a car, so he was apparently seen allegedly by some people at 8:30 a.m. that morning at Teresa Liebert's mailbox. So he would have had to have left Rushville at 6:30 a.m. So, okay, if we think it was last minute that Libby and Abby went to the bridge, but yet Elvis Fields left Rushville at 6:30 a.m. to get to the bridge at 8:30 a.m. to be seen at Teresa Liebert's mailbox. And these Odinists had created this whole scenario, planted this whole ritualistic sacrifice. And in order for that to be true, none of them left DNA. And they didn't know the girls were going to be there because there's no, evidence, I'm assuming, on their phones. But I mean, the mental gymnastics that one has to go through for this to be an Odinistic, ritualistic killing is mind-boggling.
True. And no DNA by any of them on there. Alexa, welcome.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Hi.
How's your ear?
It still hurts, but I took some medication. It's not hurting as bad, and I feel bad because you know me. When I promise I'm going to do something, I have to do it. Otherwise, I feel like I let everybody down. And I knew some people were like, "Oh, I'm going to be there because you're going to be here." So I'm like, "Okay."
It was
But the lower pressure.
Yeah, we explained it. I mean, it's one of those things, you go to the doctor, you just expect them to cure you within a day or two. Because usually,
I mean, the worst part is I never had this before, never, ever in my life. So I don't know what to expect. And I mean, to me, it's getting worse. And the doctor's like, keep putting the medication in your ear. And every time I put it, it gets worse and worse. So I'm just like, I think I'm going to stop it. And, because of the brain, we're just I'm like, is it something coming from the brain coming kind of thing? So I'm just going to go get it checked out just in case.
Because it's water. Because I know water in the ear hurts. Only because I've, like I said, I don't necessarily know that I had water before. But like I said, and I thought I was getting an earache like last week. And I was like, I never get earaches. What the heck? Yeah. But anyways, because you got an earache, you went to the doctor, and then you had to go back because you were in still a lot of pain, gave you more medication said it's because there's water in the air. And
Mhm.
usually it takes 2 to 3 days, like 3
Yeah,
days
and
is
it's
usually
been
when
almost like a
antibiotics.
week. Yeah, and I'm like on triple antibiotics. I'm taking like 2 nasal sprays. I mean, today I even Sharon suggested I take Mucinex. I went and I got some Mucinex, and I got other
Yeah.
things. So I mean, I'm frustrated because
With
it's
right,
getting annoying.
because there's
So
nothing worse than like, I mean, I know ear pain hurts a lot.
it
Um,
hurts and I'm dizzy. I can't do anything. Like I get up and on that's why I'm not on camera right
off
now because I get
balance.
so dizzy. So I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll be here.
Yeah, because I mean, when did you go to the doctor? The last
Oh
one?
my God. I went last Thursday, like a week ago. And then I went last week, I went twice. I went on Thursday, I believe. Yeah. Thursday. No. Thursday. No, what am I talking about? No, I went Monday or Wednesday. Wednesday. I went Monday and Wednesday. I just realized because I went to see my doctor and then I went to see the other doctor. Yes,
Yeah.
twice.
So from when he said that there was water in the air,
Yeah,
that
he
was
said
like
that, yeah, because of the congestion that I had. He said
yeah,
that it closed the utitions tubes.
yeah.
And he said it can take up to a couple weeks. So he's just like, go home, rest. And I'm like, what do you mean rest? I can't rest for a couple weeks. I
I
don't
know.
have a couple weeks. So
And the dizzy thing, I
well,
know.
that's what bothers me because he's like, you know what, you can't drive. And I don't drive, I can't do anything. And I wanted to use this weekend to get prepped for Christmas and go shopping and get all my Christmas ready. But no.
Yeah.
I have to tell my husband to take me here, take me there. And I don't like that because he's behind me all the time.
Right.
And then he's like, you don't need that. We already have that. Ugh.
Uh-huh.
Not his money anyway, but my money that I spend. But you know how they are.
Yeah. Oh, I know. No.
Totally.
No.
Leave him at home.
Okay. So, Alexa, again, I guess we're gonna start with you on this one because, you okay? Do you want to share any of the screenshots that you said you grabbed,
Um,
or do you just want to talk about it instead?
I mean, give me 1 second. I mean, one thing I do have to say is it's very interesting how knowledgeable he is. Because there was one post that you guys, Charmaine was reading it this morning, and I was like, well, I was actually chatting, but it really caught my eye. Was one where he said posing and staging, and most people, like the average person, doesn't even know. They even no, not even say the average person, even cops themselves don't even know the difference between posing and staging. I'm not saying that he knew about it, but the fact that he mentioned posing and staging was like music to my ears. I was like, oh my, no pun intended on that one, but I was like, very interesting that he mentioned that. I'm trying to hold on. Let me see.
Yeah, I was trying to see
I'm
if I could find it here.
Yeah, it was on. I think it was November 22nd. I think it was.
That's October. September.
Mm,
Oh
it
wait,
was.
that would be in November. November would be near the top.
No, it couldn't be
Yeah,
November.
Couldn't be November because he
He passed away on October 11th.
October.
no, of last year, 22nd.
Oh,
No, it was
okay.
the ones you read this morning. It was.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I know I have it, but
It's okay. You know
I
what?
should. I will
Even
look for it. Give me 2 minutes. Somebody talk, and I'll find it.
Adam, talk. Charmaine, talk.
I am totally listening, but I was just sent a bunch of old photos of my daughter when she graduated from journalism. So I was just reminiscing a little bit. It's
I know, right?
pretty cool.
Wait, I didn't
I
even
know.
know you did a live this morning, Sonny.
Who didn't? Ivy. Who said that? Ivy?
No, I didn't know you did a live this morning.
Oh, you didn't?
No,
Oh,
I
well,
had no idea.
I always,
Literally until Alexa said that, I was like, wait, this morning, what is she talking about?
yeah. Well, I just assume that I just assume that it's one of those things that I don't tell you about it because I know you're either babysitting or working, and then to me, I just leave it up to you if you happen to jump on or if you happen to see it or something like that. Because you either you get a notification, but I usually, if it's in during the day, I usually don't tell you about it just because I know you're doing shit. So I just go,
And-
I'll do a live.
Well,
this morning.
I don't. I have no notifications turned on for anything in my
Oh,
life
well, let's see.
because I hate that.
On there. But yeah. So Adam, just so you know, I did a live this morning with Jermaine.
Good to know.
It was about 3 hours and like 40 minutes pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
I think
And you didn't
47.
know.
I think I'm seeing.
And I was only halfway medicated and almost all the way out of bed. So
They are so full. Yeah. Well, again, Michelle, this partner name Haspin or Adam that I have, that's had them since, I don't know, back in September, and it's now end of November. Yeah. So he decided to share this with us yesterday on the live towards the end of it when I was getting off, and I didn't realize I had to put in the word comments instead of posts or whatever. So I was going, now I'll figure this out later because we're doing a live last night anyway. So great information though.
Well, hey, anyone could have found this. They just had to know about the website.
Hey, I just want to say this because it came in. Someone has bought us a coffee before, but someone bought 3 big tacos. When you purchase something, it's not coffee, it's tacos, because we have like this, that running joke of Taco Tuesday and tacos, taco. Except for CD's never around to even joke about that with anymore, about the whole taco thing.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna have to change that soon. Gonna have to make it.
I haven't even had Taco Bell in forever.
Oh, I like homemade tacos. So someone, it's always so weird. So someone, because it's like you're saying someone bought 3 tacos, but that's the actual username on there. That's very sweet. Thank you very much for that. Actually, because I was gonna say that's been like the first taco or whatever in like, I don't know, about 3 weeks or something. I think Mustang was the last one on that one, but thank you so much for that, someone. And what did Adam say? So we were talking about these posts, and Michelle was saying, appreciate you bringing this up because it's very interesting. Oh, I was slamming Adam a little bit there, wasn't I?
No, I said something very important, and you didn't even pay attention. Okay.
Squirrel. I don't think any of us are fully here tonight, in a sense. I feel like we're all kind of tired, or there's a couple people that are sick or earaches and stuff like that.
Which is very weird because that's kind of what I'm going through too, with the water in the ears and just really heavy and yeah. And
then Shelly, I guess we have a holy cow in here as well. Thanks a lot. Now I want Taco Bell. Hi, Joe Johnson. How are you? So anyway, yeah. So what was the important thing that I missed you say, Adam? I'm so sorry.
No, there wasn't one.
Okay.
And so I didn't know if you want to go back through the post. I don't know if Alexa was looking for something.
Alexa, did you find what you were looking for?
No, I'm looking. I think I'm going to go back because this is going to drive me crazy.
Well, we can keep going. I mean, we can keep reading some of these until you find
let's
it.
Do that, Alexa.
Yeah.
Alexa, just pipe in when you're ready, okay? You know how it goes. Charmaine, you keep looking at pictures, and every now and again we'll call upon you.
I've already done my post. I'm good. I just had to share my joy, and I'm good. I'm back. I'm here.
Okay. Okay. So, Adam, are we on this one still, or are we moving on from this one?
Which one was that?
It said, I think there's 2 different groups of credit. Yeah, no, we just did this one.
Right.
So we'll go to this one. Let's see what's on this one. And again, you guys, this was just, I want to say this was loosely thrown together tonight. Adam only had time to go through some of them. But again, they're very worthy of going back to look at for sure.
Right. And of course, hindsight is always 2020.
Yes.
So, we're reading this with the context and knowledge that we have now.
Mm-hmm.
So some of this could have just been natural curiosity, but any indication of possibly knowing something that was coming. When Sunny messaged me 30 minutes before the live, when I saw the message 30 minutes before the live, I screenshot as many as I could quickly. and pull them up. But like this first one says, it's out there, but it's all rumors. The interviews that stayed sealed are a big key.
Hmm.
Um, then you have all the discovery stuff that isn't associated with Rick. There is a lot to this that we don't know. I have said my opinion, but this thing is far from over, if you ask me.
Right. He did that a little bit, but this is my opinion. No,
Right.
dude, you literally are. You're like because no one's gonna usually come out and go. You know what? This guy took leaks from the Baldwin office, and so you're gonna portray it like my opinion, but yet
And then,
telling.
sorry.
Nope, that's it.
And then I don't know if it was a different screenshot or not, but the very next one says, so who is compiling the tips? That would solve the issue of the misfilings, I would think. What was that statement written on? Official documents or scrap paper? How casual was this? And the only reason I included that one is because if it comes to fruition that Dan Doolin wrote his notes from that interview on scrap paper, I think that'll become more relevant. I don't know either way, but
Well, in all fairness, I know
I just
that
found it to be an odd thing to say.
yeah,
Sorry.
absolutely for the scrap paper and stuff or scrap paper. I mean, there's no recording, or if there was, you can't find it. Can't find shit. Obviously, Dan Doolin, you did this case, and I'm telling you, you and Tobe single-handedly messed this case up. Honestly,
Right.
like honestly, and it's too bad. But the thing that keeps sticking in my head about this is, okay, we know that the defense is just shoveling, to me, whatever, they're shoveling shit down your throat and they want you to buy it, and that's the intent to do, right? Because they need to give a probable other reason that would create the reasonable doubt. Now my thing is this: the LE has done so much stupid shit between the note, between what they're talking about, the transfer of the bullet, or the, what's the word I'm looking for when they do their steps or whatever.
Chain of custody.
Chain of custody. Thank you. The chain of custody, from the calling off the dogs to, just numerous and numerous. We could go on, right? And so, to me, it's like, okay, you got this bullet between the girls. You got to, you got him. He's confessed that he's there. You got him confessing to his wife and his mother about this. And then we don't know, though, if some of this will get thrown out, in a sense, like say the bullet does get thrown out, So my thing is this:
It won't.
LE has proven that they have been absolutely destructive to this case in so many ways. And then you got the defense that has their, whole Odinism and 20 people did it type of thing, and a group of whatever, and it could have been this person, Elvis, it could have been this, and it could have been that, whatever. And then it becomes, to me, do they have enough evidence from what we've seen, knowing that there could be more? Do they have enough evidence to, stick it to them? I don't think so, from what we see. So, because they were so sloppy at the start, for me, this is my thoughts. I just pray that they have a more of a smoking gun type of thing, like perhaps DNA, perhaps something that solidly makes the jury go, yep, guilty. And it doesn't matter what they try, what defense tries to take away from this, the mishandling of information and this and that and this, because that's going to be such a big card for defense. They probably got 2 years worth of making LE look stupid, to be honest with you, by all the mistakes that they made. And then it just becomes,
Right.
what do they have that the jury's going to see that's going to be like, that Richard Allen, if you did it, you are guilty, buddy, and you are caught with your hand in the cookie jar. Because I feel like this has to have one of those moments, or else I don't see it happening. To be honest, that's how I feel. Do any of you guys feel that same way or no?
I feel they have to have something else. They have to.
Right. And like I said, I pointed out the other night, yes, I agree that, I think, but in any case, when was the last time you watched a case where everything you knew about the case is exactly what played out in trial. You know, the last bit of information that we had from the ex-defense team, you know, was when they discussed the fact that they got the latest document dump, in their words, from the prosecution on September 18th, that they admittedly said they hadn't even had time to go through yet.
Go through it. Yeah.
The next mention of any discovery material we have was when Nick McClelland said, I think it was October 10th, that that he believes everything that the state has then been turned over to the defense team or ex-defense team. So
yeah,
we have no idea what was transmitted from the state of Indiana to the ex-defense team between September 18th and October 10th.
Yeah, those little noties at the end, and that always sticks in my head. Yeah.
And I think, you know, I've heard people mentioning about this whole, like, you know, there was like this rumor that, like, you know, the state was, you know, keeping discovery from the defense. And then I heard other people saying the state was not keeping discovery from the defense because they had up until 15 days before the trial to turn the discovery over. And I couldn't figure out, I was like, where did this 15 days come from? And then someone sent me a message about it. And if you look at the very first order, I think it is, that Diener, back before he recused himself, made in this case, he made an order that said that the state would turn over all discovery evidence to the defense within 15 days of the beginning of this trial starting. So I think that's where that 15 days comes from.
Yeah, but that, because we talked about that with Travis, and he said that one becomes null and void.
Well, yeah, no, I'm just saying where that's coming, where, you know, when that language is coming from.
Right.
But then we know Judge Gull, you know, was like, okay, well, I'm going to set a November 1st deadline.
Yeah.
And then October 10th, Nick McClelland said all the discovery we have, to my knowledge, is turned over. But there's been no public knowledge whatsoever about what content the discovery contained between September 18th and October 10th. Those dates are in public filings, so that's why I'm confident saying that. So, I mean, there could be incredibly damning evidence in that, you know, in the discovery. We don't know.
Absolutely. Well, we know,
and so no one can pretend to know whether you think Richard Allen's guilty or whether you think he's innocent. No one can pretend to know.
Right. You know. Alexa, did you find yours yet?
I'll send them to you in a minute.
Okay. I had a thought. And you know what my thought is right now, Adam? I'm going to bring up the next thing because so bad. It is so hot in here. And I need to go get some water because right now I'm just overheating. And I can't turn the fan on because it will be too loud.
You thought it was hot. You thought it was hot already. Check this out.
Oh my God, that's repulsive. That's the difference, Adam. Let me just quickly say, Charmaine, did you need to say anything here at all? Did you want to add to that repulsive comment at all, or something different?
No. I'm a kind individual. I keep my thoughts to myself.
Yeah, I don't.
Like Canadians should.
Very funny.
That was towards me, Bite.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't towards me.
Yeah. Okay. So, or just take a look at a couple comments. Oh, look who's in here. Oh, who's that? Is that Figgy? Is that Figgy in the house? Anyways,
I've never seen that name before.
You know,
but
I'm pretty sure I've seen
I like the picture
without the dot. Yeah, it's like Ghostbusters, that green color thing.
Giving me major DILF vibes.
Yeah,
DILF.
I'm going to be right back. Sorry, you guys. So that I need to go for a second, but you guys can flirt with Fig and the rest of the people for a minute. I'm just gonna go get some more water. Okay.
You want to pull up the next tip, and I'll go ahead and read it, or the next thing that was on there.
No, that sounds like a boss. That sounds like you're bossing me around, and I don't like that. You know. Okay, which one do you want me to leave it on? This one or the top one? This kind of point, investigative, no, probably this one. Oh, no, maybe not.
Oh,
Hold
no,
on,
no.
guys. Hold on. Must be this one.
Wait.
Didn't you do that one already? No.
Yeah, but it's all rumor. Yeah, we did that one. Go to the next one.
How many times did you send me the same stuff on there? Okay. And Alexa's sending me stuff as well. So
Before you go really quickly, I want to say this one is,
here's
I mean, on July 5th, Robert Fortson literally made a comment on a post that all it said was Richard Whiteman.
yeah. And then there was the other one to go with it. Yeah.
You know, and before September 18th, September, the date of the memorandum coming out, no one had heard that put together that way. To me, that's very clear that he had some sort of information well before the August 1st date that we saw in the Mitch Westerman affidavit that said August 1st.
Mm-hmm. I think that's just one of many examples I can't think of off the top of my head. But when we were reading this morning, it was like, wow, like even back in April, he had some really interesting insight that turned out to be very accurate.
What do you mean, Charmaine? Can you expand on that?
Well, like I said, I can't remember the exact post, but just some of the things that we were reading seemed to reference things that were in the memo, and they were dated from like April. Yeah.
Because the end of June is the latest. I'm not a Reddit person, so I never even went back and looked at them beyond the end of June. So you guys are going to be a much better source of context for that than I would be.
Yeah, because we actually made a comment because the post that we were reading was back in April. We made a comment like this is the type of thing where you'd need a Tom Webster deep dive to have the reference material ready to kind of cross-reference it, because it was like, when did we find out about that? It wasn't until June, but yet he was commenting something similar back in April, and it was like, maybe not exact, but it was very similar.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could remember what it was, but
unfortunately, Tom Webster's too busy eating whipped cream and pumpkin pie tonight to bother with any of us.
For sure. But maybe I'll go back onto my computer and dig up the April post so I can figure out which one I'm talking about. But it made us both kind of stop and go, when did we actually hear that? I think it was something about the confessions, actually. And the confessions had happened in April, and I believe the confessions had happened in April, and this post that we were reading was from May, and we were like, okay, when did we find that out? And we went back and we figured out it was in June.
Right,
like,
and there are people that allege that Fortson had the confession and shared it with Mark Robert.
And it all makes me wonder,
like, zero proof to that. I know no evidence to point to that being true, but that has been alleged.
But it also makes me wonder then, because like if Mitch, not if, obviously it was Mitch who took the photos and whatever and started this big hubbub, what was the purpose? Because it seems to me that this guy was very much in favor of RA being the right guy. So why would he
right?
You know what I'm saying? I just
can I say that threw me off too. Okay, when I saw Fig's video, I was like, wait a second, I'm confused. This Fortson, he's all about RA being guilty.
Yeah. So why was he helping? Why was he helping Mitch then disperse this information? You know what I mean? It's just a little strange. It's weird.
I mean, I'm not going to begin to try to
think for them.
Answer questions, about someone that's not here, to actually answer them.
Yeah, but what could be the motivation there? Is there something that could have,
I noticed a prominent, narrative in some of these posts, where, you know, he would state a feeling about something, but then would also state in the exact same post something that contradicted that. And he would even say, I feel this, but this is what I'm saying. And so I feel like we can see a confliction in some of these posts about what he might feel personally versus what he's being given information from. And don't discredit the importance and the weight of getting inside information, because trust me, I knew people that were talking to the defense team, you know, months ago, which is why I've said that. And I was never no one ever shared information with me, but I can see where if someone had, even if you disagreed with it, it could start to change your perspective on things. If all of the information you're getting from a direct inside source starts to point in one direction.
Yeah.
Because, you know, information is powerful.
No, absolutely.
So is knowledge.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Period.
Knowledge. Yeah.
Well, information and knowledge are different, but
Well, okay,
Very true.
The one thing I want to say, only because I wasn't sure what you guys said because I was getting water and stuff, was the one thing I was going to say was that I don't care how fucking smart you are. No one is going to sit there and go, so do you think that they misfiled it by chance underneath Rick Whiteman, or Rick whatever? You're like, no one is even going to think that at all. Like, do you think I sat there and go?
That's not a train of thought that someone goes down. Exactly, Sonny. I agree.
Not a train of thought. Exactly. So I mean, that's why that one is so telling to me.
To me, it's almost as telling as someone saying Richard Allen's alibi was that he was looking at fish.
And for anyone that doesn't think that you could see the fish from the bridge, by the way, you can.
Not on that day, you have it though.
Pardon?
But not on that day because the water was muddy from the recent snowfalls.
Hold on.
You can see.
No. There was a post in here about that day in the footage where you could that Fortson said you could see the fish. I remember that because you weren't here for that.
We've all watched that helicopter footage. You can't see anything in that water.
Well. Mr. Fortson there, because me and Charmaine in the conversation we were reading, remember Charmaine? He was talking about that in the drone or helicopter footage. He said he couldn't remember.
But you also pointed out that he said on the 13th, but it had to have been on the 14th because there was no helicopter out there on the 13th.
Right.
Not on the 13th.
It was only on the 14th.
So I said, okay, well, the date must be wrong because it's the 14th.
That water was murky on the 14th.
Okay, yeah.
I'll disagree with Fortson on that one.
Well, I was going to say, so let me bring up, so Alexa sent me she has 3 posts that she wants to talk about. So again, you guys,
talk about, but it did caught my eye. Well, this one, it was almost what we were talking about. We've been talking about Doug Carter and how he speaks in codes and you know, we were trying to read him and everything. So I think this one, he's spot on with what he was saying.
Okay. So it says that they are still doing that on YouTube. It's some weird cult-like behavior when it goes to trial and the family is sitting in the courtroom while others slandered are on the prosecuting team or silly detectives, then they will likely lose their minds to a greater extent and start screaming about that and turn on someone else like Doug Carter, who they currently think is some, what's that, messianic figure speaking in codes that would make the fictional character, the Riddler, seems less cryptic. You'll see those that blame the innocent lash out in a much darker way sooner or later.
Yes.
Okay,
and I think this resonated with us because we always spoke about, Doug Carter, and we always tried to read, what did he mean? He's being so cryptic about everything he says, the way that the tentacles, this and that and that. So it was very interesting to read this. And I think he's right. So I think sometimes and I always told you that from, I think, day one. Mm-hmm. And you and I had this conversation many times that when we talked about the crime scene, that I always thought that the crime scene wasn't as, and when I say bad, please don't take it that I am saying that, any crime scene is gruesome. It's, it's not a scene that you obviously want to see, but there is level of crime scenes. There are crime scenes that are clean, that you don't have a lot of things. There are crime scenes that are just messy, and there are crime scenes that will give you nightmares.
Yeah.
So I always thought that for them, this crime scene was grotesque. It was the worst thing they ever seen, because they have never seen a crime scene like this, especially
Right.
with children.
Right.
Mhm.
So
Exactly. It's
that's why you saw
perspective.
that in their faces. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it was just, I was agreeing with you that that is their perspective based
hmm
on their
Right.
knowledge and
That's
experience.
what it felt like.
hmm
I mean, that's
Mhm.
why you kept debating on that, because I
hmm
kept saying, but no, you aren't you like listening to them, and then we're talking about freaking cult things, shrines, big
hmm
freaking
Right.
well, they said panda bears and Robert Lindsay, and I was like, well, doesn't that look more like a bunny rabbit, if anything? And then so it's like you're seeing all this shit.
Yeah.
But I
And
think even, to them, if you don't have the experience, leaves, if sometimes SKs like to cover their victims because they don't want to see them. Either sometimes is it because they know the victim and they feel ashamed, or sometimes they just have that little moment that they just want to conceal them. And, you know, but in this case, I always thought that this wasn't it. I don't know if they were covered with leaves or not.
no,
But if, to them, if they see that, they immediately start thinking, oh my God. I remember when I spoke with Robert Ives, that the only thing he said is, oh yeah, there's so many signatures you will see. And I was like, okay,
Mhm.
okay, signatures. Yeah, and I always been going back to those signatures. And I'm sure to them, this appeared as signatures because they never seen that before. The sticks. Oh
Right.
yes, that has to be a signature. And maybe it is. I'm not saying it is not, but
Right.
maybe it isn't. You
I
know what I mean?
I agree, CJK. Um, wait,
um,
was there a question? Had someone asked me a question and I can't remember now.
well, I want to
Um,
ask Alexa a question while you remember that question.
Oh yeah.
Alexa,
yes.
what do you think on earth would propel, say, we'll just say the perpetrator, to put clothes that were Libby on Abby?
On top of Abby's clothes.
Yeah.
Was
Like,
it on top of Abby's clothes? So Abby has double clothing?
Yeah.
well, she has her pink shirt on, like that's
Yeah,
on
it
there.
was just the pants.
No, it was the jacket. She had on the jacket that, so remember, Abby had on the gray jacket on the bridge.
Yes.
But in the pictures, she has on the swimming club one that Kelsey had on.
No,
So,
that Libby had on. Yeah.
sorry, that Libby had on. Sorry, they were Kelsey's jacket, both of them. So what do you think? And the
It could
jeans,
it could
are,
be as simple as this. When people pass on, they swell up. And I tell you from experience, because when my cousin died, and she was very thin, but she bloated so much that we couldn't close her pants. Like, we couldn't get her pants on, and we had to get bigger pants to put them on. So it can be as simple as the girls. It depends on the gases and everything, and it could be that she bloated and her pants wouldn't fit, and then maybe that's why he chose to put the other clothes on, because they were obviously, Libby was they had a different body type. It was a little bit bigger, taller. So it could be as simple as that.
So
Or it could be some sick fantasy that we want to we want to put the clothes on this person, and we want to, it's like dolls. The thing with this type of, for me, this crime has always been a fantasy. So you have to get in the mind of that person to think like that. They don't think like you and I. He made this fantasy in his head. It could be like he wanted to dress somebody like a doll, and this was his chance.
And the thing that bothers me the most, and like I don't know any of this for sure, but from what I've seen from that painting or whatever, and from what I've heard, so Abby had on the shirt that she was wearing on the bridge. She had the pink shirt on, but he took the time to put Libby's sweatshirt on Abby, instead of using, even if he couldn't get the sweatshirt over top of Libby. To me, if it was any kind of sign of remorse and he didn't want to leave the girls exposed or whatever, why
Mhm.
wouldn't he have used that hoodie to even lay over top of
Mhm.
Libby? You know what I'm saying? Like, why take the extra time and effort when
Mhm.
Abby already had a shirt on?
Yeah.
Why did he do that?
It could be one. I always thought that, I always said this from day one. I always think Libby was a target. And
Mhm.
I think for what I've seen of the painting, that painting that goes around that is from the crime scene, although they say it's not 100% accurate, but even if it's not, we know one girl from was naked and the other one was not. I think
Right.
in a way he felt a little bit of remorse, because I always thought that Abby was a tactical kill. AK tactical means a collateral damage. I hate using that word. I like tactical
I
better.
know.
A
Can I
tactical, a tactical
can,
kill.
can I ask
She
you a question,
wasn't
Alyssa?
supposed to be there. Give me just 1 second, sure.
Right.
And uh, Livy was the target, and usually they want to leave them in humiliated poses, and
That's
that's
what I
when the
thought.
posing comes in, because they want to humiliate. That the way that she was left was for humiliation for some reason
Yeah.
in his head. Sorry, Adam.
Go ahead, Adam.
Oh no, I mean that kind of goes into the question I have for you is something that I've speculated on and and thought about is, could the representation of the girls and the way they were left
Hmm.
have to do with the way each girl were represented in the killer's mind?
Of course,
Meaning so that
100%.
I mean the stark contrast of there may have been a perception in the killer's mind of
Hmm.
Libby to be one thing and for Abby to be something else,
Hmm.
and in turn then he felt the need to comfort, shield, soften the look of Abby,
Hmm.
yet expose
Hmm.
and make it a harsh example of the way he left Libby.
Hmm. Yeah, 100%. It could be. Yeah, and no, without the could be. I think that's the way it is. Yeah, that's this is all in his mind, and this was something that he probably planned for years. And there was some kind of trigger in his life that it goes from being just a fantasy to being a reality, and that's what I would like to know. I don't know if we will ever find out, because I don't know if he's ever going to say why, but we'll see. But yes, it also could be because Livy was a little bit. Livy represented more like a woman, because I guess she was more developed, physically developed,
Right.
and Abby was more, more innocence, more a little girl kind of thing. So could be, but I think I don't. I personally, I always thought that this has to do because she wasn't the target. The target it was Libby.
Libby. Yeah. I mean, I'm still gonna hold that it was Libby and not Abby. I know that there's 3 pictures of Abby versus 1 of Libby.
But that's all the pictures that he took, though. That's not saying those are the only pictures, Sonny. That's not. I
Oh,
wouldn't
there
put
has to
too
be
much thought
hundreds
into
of
that.
pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Wait,
no, we
what?
know. I mean,
We know
we
that,
know by the evidence that there were more.
Yeah.
but
These
I'm
were just the
talking.
4 that were.
I'm just talking about the 4 that are out there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's 3 of Abby, 1 of Libby. So someone had asked that in a previous live. Well,
Right.
why is there 3 of 1 and only
And-
1 of Libby?
Because probably one is nude, and I guess he didn't want to take a lot of the nude pictures.
Maybe.
Right. Or
release
the
them.
point of
Or,
the
yeah.
or the point of the public dissemination of those pictures were for a specific reason,
That's right.
possibly to
Right.
align with what they thought
Mhm.
they saw in the defense memorandum.
Yeah. I mean, we know
Because
that
if you
there's
look, I mean, I don't want to discuss the photos too in depth, but I mean, if you look at the pictures they chose, there's one of each of the girls. Their full bodies exposed.
To show the sticks, yeah.
Mhm.
show the
But
stick.
the other 2, which are the ones that people don't talk about very often, But I feel like the intent of the 4 pictures that were chosen, the other 2 are the ones that are actually more interesting, because I feel
Right.
like they were chosen for the reason uh, of directing people towards a specific thing, and
Right.
that's because they're close-ups of one, the top
The
of Abby's head.
organism, you mean? Is that what you mean?
Well,
Well,
one of them is the top of Abby's head,
Oh, okay.
and in the defense memorandum they alleged that there were
The antlers, yeah.
sticks or horns, and then the other is a close-up of the denim that Abby is wearing.
and her
And in the
leg being-
memorandum, they talk about her wearing
Pants.
Libby's
With-
jeans.
Yeah.
Well, that one to me, I felt was to show the bent leg. I took that
And,
as,
and absolutely, it could have been as well.
that's how I took that one, because it's kind of like, here's top of Bobby's head, here's the bent leg. But again, I mean, obviously Mitch chose those 4 for whatever purpose,
Right.
and I do believe that the 2 full ones of each girl was to show the sticks for sure.
Mhm.
If they were trying to show horns or antlers in that 3rd picture of Abby of only the head, they did a really bad job in my eyes. And as for the leg thing, okay, so there's the bent leg, but what was it? So was it to show us the bent leg? Was it to show us the jeans? Was it like, what was the purpose of that big close up? Only I guess he truly knows why he wanted to disseminate whatever those pictures, knowing that you guys full well, obviously, that there's probably hundreds of pictures taken of that crime scene. But
Possibly to show that, like, how muddy the jeans were in contrast to how clean Abby's shoes were, to and there's
So-
another thing I wanted to bring up too, to Sunny and Alexa, actually.
Mhm.
Adam, you can listen to if you want to, but
Fine.
we're always talking about SKs. They generally don't start killing when they're in their 40s or whatever. It usually
Mhm.
starts younger. The case that we're going over tomorrow, this guy didn't kill until he was 46 years old too.
Mhm.
So it's not unheard of
No.
that they've got these fantasies, and maybe they're doing other crimes, other smaller things that they don't get caught for, but it builds up to this point where they finally just decide this is it. And it could have been as simple as the first kid or the first girl or the first female that walks the full length of that bridge. That's who it's going to be. And it just happened to be those 2 on that day.
Unless they were
And
Ernest.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And I mean, I heard you guys are doing Russell Williams tomorrow. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one of that case is so interesting.
Yeah.
Especially, what to think that, he had clearance even to be with the Queen of England.
Yeah.
Makes you think.
Yeah.
But I mean, and the thing is, this is the thing what happens is with SKs, most of the SKs, and this is why we study them, is because most of them follow a pattern.
Libby had
And we can say, they usually come from broken homes, or the mother is a prostitute, or there was violence, and that's how they're shaped. They usually torture animals, and that's how they start. They usually start killing by the age of before they turn 20, and by 27 that's like the average age and all that. But for every rule there's that exception, and I think this one falls in that exception, like Russell Williams, that he probably had. I always believe this was his first kill, but I shouldn't say that, his first unaliving, I'm sorry. But I think
no, it's okay. We use
that
the word
he
killer.
always had, I always
Absolutely.
believed that he had to have red flags. I always believed that he probably had violence in his house, domestic violence. Remember, I always said, and people were like, "No, you don't know. They can't talk about it." But I also, and somewhere, I think I heard you guys saying today that that the police was called, apparently, obviously,
Yeah.
allegedly,
Yeah.
that he had a domestic dispute. And I do believe, I sometimes, and somebody asked me that, and they said, but why would the wife don't recognize, or why? Because sometimes the wives are victims too. Either they are psychologically abused or they physically abused.
Or gaslighted and brainwashed.
Exactly.
And
I think
blinded
he
by
was a
that.
little dick. I think he was a dick, and she was really nice. That's how I see it. I
And
think
And
she
we
was
have no
blinded.
idea. And we have no idea if like the what we're doing tomorrow. And this guy was considered the Tweed creeper. If you think of Paul Bernardo, he was the Scarborough rapist and he didn't
Yeah.
get caught for years. So we have no idea if RA's ever done anything in the past that he's never been caught for. It could have just been a breaking and entering or an underwear fetish or something. It all builds up to this.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I want to go back just to something because so Figga just said this. The problem with the F tree photo is someone put a filter on it before putting it out there. Why would they do that? That doesn't need a filter.
I agree.
Yes.
Right. I get what you're saying. So what, to make it look more like an F or something, or what?
Well, don't remember we learned that because because the picture was taken at night.
Yeah.
The filter it was edited to reduce the glare from it being at night, but in doing so, it made it look more like an actual F.
Correct. Right. Even though I don't understand that, because you could still take a picture off a tree and take a good darn photo of that in daylight. To me, maybe the F, I know it illuminates, but
But
I mean,
what if the blood wasn't
Visible.
evident enough to actually be seen without an artificial light source?
and I believe Fig on this one too. If you pull up the F tree and then try to explain it to someone who isn't looking, it's exactly how Barb's tree looked, and that's true because all you're seeing again, your brain. First of all, the brain, which we talked about. You just associate it with something. So when somebody visually looks at that right away, like a word sometimes, you think it says something. I did that trick on my husband the one day, and he totally thought what a lot of people would say. And if he actually looked at it, it didn't actually say that word. And that's the thing with the F tree to me, that when you visually look at it, your brain goes, oh, that looks similar to an F, but yet is it an F? And all the different blood splatters that are around the F tree aren't standing out the same, because it's like your eyes are just focused that that's supposed to be an F. And again, most people that don't use their brain power are sitting there going, absolutely enough, absolutely enough. No, zoom in on it, look around. You can't just sit there and pick and choose what you want this thing to be, but it does just by first glance look like an F. Like your brain just, how your brain associates. We all do that, and then you start looking a little bit harder at it and you're like, oh, well, maybe that's not quite enough. But, but that's just kind of like how the mind plays tricks on you sometimes when you're doing stuff. And, so that's what I thought too, as well, Fig, that when you truly looked at that tree and what's that noise? When you truly look at that tree, you could, like you said, you just can't apply that. What about the other, blood in the area on the tree that now is very, very, very hard to see on that picture? So you have to almost go into another your own program to make it darker so that it all stands out better.
Right.
To the people that do stuff like that. And there's other people that just look at the picture and go, yup, like they don't play with it. They don't check on it or anything. But when you zoom in, there's no attaching that F in the middle. It's kind of like, it's definitely clearly like a thing that looks like straight across and down, like how an F would do. But
but like I said, what if the reason that picture was taken at night is because it was only visible with an artificial light source, such as luminol? So hence the reason to need to reduce the glare.
yeah, I mean,
and I quickly to answer one of the girls' question, you did not mishear the guest, Charmaine, who is also Canadian, and Sunny, who's we know is Canadian, are doing a stream tomorrow on Russell Williams at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Right, correct. Definitely a good one. I remember.
And Sunny, I think someone called me a floozy in the chat. If you could ban them.
That's okay. I'm just trying to think who it was. It either was Lacey, Fig, Steffa, Daisy,
Or anyone,
Lisa.
literally anyone that watches us.
Pretty much. You know that you're our biggest salute on this channel, right? It's not me. It's you. I only have to fend off a few people.
What can I say? I love love.
Oh, the cheese is real. Okay, so let's go back to Alexa, you guys, on this one. And sorry, you guys. I know that the chat's going off there, and I'm trying to kind of pull up comments as they come. So Alexa, this one that she pulled up to me as well, Gail, says, I have a theory about this. So I fully believe that since it's been 5+ years that he committed to his story and is going to stick to attempting to beat the charges. However, I think initially when he went to the police because he wanted to be interrogated and questioned. Fig, I'm going to ask you on that one, just because you're in here now, because we were talking about this earlier in the live. Do you feel like Richard Allen wanted to be at the start of it interrogated and questioned, and hence why he kind of gave himself up? And it says, edit, removed my own speculation on his psychology based on the events laid out in the PCA and what I see in this guy based on his behavior on the wife's Facebook and other anecdotal, whatever, or anecdotal stories told about him from various sources. Wait, so does that mean he takes back the interrogated thing at that point? I just don't remember this particular one. Anyways, Alexa, your point to this one that you pulled up?
No. It was just because a lot of people were asking me if I did believe that he wanted to be interrogated and questioned. Absolutely not. What he wanted to do is he wanted to get to the police before anybody say, "Oh, I saw him." So he is one of those things that I say before you say something. He just wanted to say, pretend like he had nothing to hide. Hey, I was there. When you have nothing to hide, you come forward and you say, listen,
Right.
I was there and this is what I was wearing. And just in case, this was an insurance policy, just in case somebody saw him, because he knew people had seen him. So I think this was part of his show. I don't think he wanted to be interrogated. I think he was probably relieved when he saw that, okay, nobody paid attention to him. I just wonder how he felt when he saw the video. I think he probably, went ballistic when he saw that video and say, oh my God, I'm going to be recognized. And then I think at that point, 6 years later, I think, when they caught him, it was 5. But I think at that point when he got caught, I think he already thought, I am never going to get caught for this. It's, they are looking in the other direction. I'm never going to get caught.
Oh, when the Young sketch came out.
They did. Yeah, exactly. Nothing to do with him. It was. So that's what I wanted to say, that a lot of people were asking about that. And the last one, it wasn't really that I wanted to talk about. It was just that it was music to my ears that he said staging and posing. Because you have no idea, even cops, when they speak, they don't know the difference. Not that I'm saying that he knew the difference, but usually they just say staging or posing, and they put both. So the fact that he said staging, posing, this leads me to believe that this is really a man that knows what he's talking about. He's really into true crime, because not a lot of people know that. Even people that enjoy true crime, they don't know those details. So that's very, very telling of who he was and how deep he was into this.
Sorry, you said that RA was into true. No, Robert. Okay, I was like, yeah, no, it sunk in right for a second. I was like, wait, what? All right,
No.
That's what happens when I'm looking at comments, and then I catch only pieces of what you've said. I don't multitask well, and I'm not going to claim I do.
Yep. And a lot of SKs too, they usually like to go back to the crime scene, or they like talking to police because they want to see what they know, what they can get out of the police. Obviously the police know and they don't say anything, but those are tactics that they use.
Right.
That's why I believe that Brian, Brian Kohlberg, I truly believe.
Minds.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, we both said Brian Kohlberger at the same time.
Oh, we did. Yeah, I truly believe. See, great minds think alike. That's why we believe. We spoke about it. That's why he went back the next day. I truly believe he went back to see if that his plan. Everybody had found the scene that he made.
Right.
I'm so glad you're here, Alexa. Mm.
Sunny
And
left.
how, Charmaine, how did you get into true crime?
Um, it goes back quite a while. Obviously, my mom was really into it, but my brother was actually involved in a double homicide.
Oh, so
And yeah, so he served his prison sentence. It was quite lengthy, but I spent the first few years after that all went down trying to help him and trying to figure out what went wrong. And I guess from there, I just kind of carried on with the fascination that my mom had and kind of we all had. And my
mhm.
daughter and I kind of shared that, I guess. I did the same thing to her that my mom did to me. And so now we just do this podcast. It's kind of a mommy daughter thing.
Oh,
We're
that's
not
nice.
normal, but yeah, it is. It's good.
Normal's boring, isn't it?
Well, no,
Yeah.
Um,
true crime is usually like the scary movie for little kids. It's something that, especially women enjoy it because,
Yeah.
they get that scary thing without having it, with knowing that nothing is going to happen. So it's very interesting. I always want to know why regular people like true crime because I never
mhm.
knew this community existed. Never ever until a year ago. So it's very interesting to see.
Absolutely. And yeah, again, for anyone that's watching right now, Lexa is a criminal profiler that does graphology and is a body language expert. So, she's a friend of ours here, but we look to her, especially with what we're talking about, which is the crime scene and the different things that are being said and trying to understand it. That's at the end of the day, you guys, that's all we're trying to do, right? Really? I mean, honestly. I don't honestly give a crap who leaked what, or what, or this anymore. That stuff, what that stuff happens all the time, whether it's morally right or not morally right, whether it's whichever, it doesn't matter to me. People do things all the time. I'm not in control of what other people do and stuff like that. Bottom line is, I want to know why that day and who. Those are the answers that I personally seek. So to try to understand, for instance, why someone would put the clothes from Libby onto Abby, why those stick formations, was it the distraction, like I've said? It's the story of what happened to those girls. Like, why that, the rest, like any of the other stuff out there, and that people, like I said, want to search for and do themselves and stuff like that. Whatever another channel does, whatever, is totally up to them. But it's always been for Libby and Abby and trying to understand what happened to those beautiful girls. So Alexa, again, who is a criminal profiler, has a better understanding of why. So again, I just go back to that same argument. I kept saying, no, Alexa, these pictures, like this crime scene must be so grotesque that they're the way that they're saying it and stuff like that. And from everything that I'm seeing and that, people are saying about this freaking sheet and cleaner and this freaking humongous stuffed animal and stuff like that.
Orange cleaner.
Orange cleaner. Yeah. And I'm just like, huh. Well, in the pictures that are out there, I don't really see any of that stuff. Even though I know it's not the full crime scene, okay? But it's kind of like, so Alexa's knowledge, or she ended up being right. What I'm seeing in those pictures is not what I would deem as the grotesquest thing I've seen. It's absolutely, we all know it's sad looking at Abby and Libby, that this happened to the girls that day. But she was right about that being a criminal profiler. She's like, I think that they think that this is, because of being from a small town, that it's whatever, but they haven't seen what a real, one looks like, say in New York, for instance. And she ended up being right about that. And so that makes me feel a little bit of peaceful, because
Mhm.
I was really torn if I wanted to even see these pictures based on that image in my head. But I wanted to see what the crime scene looked like, to see, like, why are these sticks laid out? Were there horns on the head? That's the first thing I wanted to look at, actually, was about the horns.
Well, the signatures. I
You know.
remember hearing all the signatures. They were like, "Oh, it's like a profiler's dream," with the
Yeah.
signatures. I'm like, okay.
And I would, like, I mean, we heard certain things, like we've always heard certain things about sticks and leaves from the get-go, right?
Mhm.
There's like that, but then it got pushed a little further about the sticks and stuff like that, and exactly how they were. And like I said, when you like to deep dive into stuff, not because you find it gratifying at all, you just want to try to understand what happened to Abby
Right.
and Libby that day. Who was the target? Then you have Alexa here, who can try to explain it from her experience what some of this stuff might mean, which helps. So Alexa ended up being right about what I was thinking versus that, and then I say, okay, yeah, you're right, Alexa. But knowing that there's nothing pretty about any crime scene photos, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, so when it the sticks, Alexa,
Hmm.
do you take it like I'm taking it, like this, like say you're just gonna say hypothetically it's Richard Allen, hypothetically.
Hmm.
Um, do you think that that it was just a placement of the sticks to make it look like there was some cultish like feeling to it, to distract, and like I've said, and that there's not really
Misdirection.
misdirection, that's the word, and there's not really any reasoning for the sticks besides to try to make it look, from somebody that probably doesn't know shit about the cult, that he tried to make it look like it was some sort of cult, not Odinism. I will
Could
never.
it be that maybe he was trying to like hold the heads or something?
No, well, it's just more of these sticks are not thrown on the girls.
Yeah, no, that were placed.
They were placed. So
Mhm.
the thing is that I'm just myself. I know that you cannot attach Odinism to any of this because there's nothing in any of those photos that say Odinism to anything. The
No.
closest thing was that what they would have wanted to call an asterisk. The rest of it, no. So you can't attach Odinism to something that's not there at the crime scene from those pictures, okay? And those are the ones that they seem to want to show about that it was to do, you know what I mean, push their narrative
Mhm.
or whatever. But for me, it's just someone that, like that, say Richard Allen took sticks, laid one here, laid one here on both of them, put one here, type of thing. But there was really no meaning behind the sticks.
Yeah, that's called staging. That's exactly what
Yeah.
staging is. Misdirection of the thing. I personally, I always see. I have hard time believing that he would, because staging is usually see. But I guess you can break a rule. Staging is very. I think maybe he staged it without even thinking that he was staging it. Because staging is something that SKs, usually the very sophisticated ones are the ones that stage. I don't think in your first, oops, my phone, there goes my phone again. I don't think on your first, on a living, you would, stage, but it could be. I mean, like I said, but I do believe the way, again, going about what I've seen in the drawing that people said that it's very accurate, or, talking to people that have seen the pictures. I think those sticks have a meaning to him. Now, what it is, I don't know. So, I don't know. This is the one thing that I don't know yet. Did he
Yeah.
did he stage it? I don't think that I'm pretty sure. I don't think he staged it. I don't think he staged the crime scene willingly. Maybe he did it, but I don't see him staging something willingly though. But I could be wrong.
I know. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I mean, I know, like I said, that you're going by your experience about what it, but that doesn't mean necessarily make it true. You're just giving your best opinion, right? I mean, like anything. So, I mean, I don't think that they had meaning to him personally, but I've been wrong with you before. So, I just think that he laid them to make it look like something, but I don't know, like like maybe I get what you're saying. I just don't know if I truly think he put much thought into how he laid them, but he might have. I mean, he might have. I just think it was a
But I
bit
mean, they were placed. They weren't just thrown; they were placed. You
right.
know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
Hey, I'll be right back.
there has to be a
Okay.
meaning to that.
Well, right. Well, I guess I'm thinking of it like this. If you say that there's a meaning to it, like let's say someone was playing tic-tac-toe and
Hmm.
they set it out like a tic-tac-toe, then I could go, okay, there's a meaning.
Yeah.
They made a tic-tac-toe. But here I just kind of am seeing like, well, these sticks look all, like this way. I just see it as someone almost grabbing sticks. Here's one here. Let me place one here. I'm going to do another here. I don't know anything, like meaning not me, but Richard Allen. I'm going to try to pretend to make it look like it's a ritualistic type of thing, add some like twist to it to misdirect, like I've said. But I don't know that he was actually thinking, going, well, I'm going to make this one look like, the star, like an asterisk, and place this one just maybe. I just don't see that, you know that he specifically had this thing in his head as much as he was just placing to make it look as if it was ritualistic of some sort, but miserably failed. And that's why they said misdirection, and they never found anything that attached to it. Nothing ever came of it. They said remember I've said for all the physical evidence. And of course, when he said that, it just went with all the freaking orange cleaner stuff and, freaking dolls hanging from trees or whatever the heck it was and stuff like that. And so that's all I'm picturing too in my head is like, oh, all this physical stuff. But looking hindsight, I don't think it meant as what I thought it meant. But then, but I still would have had that in my mind had I not seen the crime scene photos and been like, well, that's not there. I don't see that there beside Libby and stuff like that. So, oh, wait, that's not a knife. That's like a freaking twig that's coming out of distorted pictures looking like a knife, obviously now. But again, that's 4 pictures out of hundreds of pictures. We don't know at what stage those pictures were taken. Um, you know, was there more stuff around? I don't know. I don't know. I just know that, in the Ron Logan affidavit, they say that the girls were moved. So that's obviously would be like Fig was just saying where the blood, you know, would be, because they said in Ron Logan's affidavit about all that blood, that basically that the person that did this would have had to absolutely have blood splatter all over them because of that part, of where say they were killed versus where they were put. Which you see some blood, of course, but not.
And you go back because I was going to answer her, but maybe you can put back. Ivy Rose had asked a question.
Ivy. Which one?
I
This one,
think I'll type
Alexa.
it.
What do you think? This one?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Well, that tells a lot. That's actually, very telling because that means that he is probably would have been. I mean, if he kept in the business, organized, and it tells a lot about his persona. That means that he wanted to have where he placed them. He wanted to have a clean, quote unquote, crime scene. He didn't want to have the dirty, or where he did his thing, where he unalived them was probably dirty and everything. He took the time to move them, and again, it goes back part of his fantasy. That fantasy didn't want to be dirty. Didn't want to have, things. I heard that. In the crime scene, where they were left, and obviously when we speak crime scene starts from the bridge all the way to where they were found, but specifically where they were found. I think that's why he did that he wanted to have a nice, quote unquote, part of the fantasy to have in his, probably he took pictures and he didn't want to have that gross stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
I remember this Carol, and see if you guys too, because this one stood out to me when it was said. Crime scene photos are like small snapshots of a greater picture. Like when Short Dark Cop said that at the presser showing BG, holding hands up in a screen shape saying, you're not seeing what's outside of this frame.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
That always stood out to me too, that wording of that, because it,
Mhm.
basically saying you guys aren't seeing the whole picture. We know more of the picture, but you're just getting a snapshot of it. Sweet Dude says, why did Ali push the theory that the person was trying to cover bodies? Do you think it was an attempt to hide them?
Because usually that's what they do. A lot of SKs, after they unalive their victims, they usually cover them either as a personal thing because they are ashamed of what they did, or especially in that type of terrain, if you cover them, it would be probably harder to spot them.
Yeah.
So it could be simple like that.
Charmaine, did you need to pipe in or Adam anywhere with any of this?
No, I'm just I'm reading the comments and listening to
Yeah, there's a lot of
Alexa's
comments.
answers.
Yeah. Adam, did you have anything that you wanted to add to some of this? Did he go away? Oh,
No, I was looking at Heather's comment,
okay.
and Alexa, can tell us more about this, but if you go by the timeline of 213 to, I'm just saying 357,
3:30 at
when we
least.
know
Yeah.
that Sarah Carborough saw someone leaving. To me, that's an extraordinary amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I hear people say the timeline is tight, it's confusing to me because, like, we know Brian Koberger allegedly went into that house in Idaho and committed a quadruple homicide in 8 to 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, an hour and a half is an incredible amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And no disrespect to Heather. I respect your opinion. I don't find the timeline tight at all.
I don't either, actually, especially seeing the crime scene, or at least parts of it. I don't think so anymore. I was kind of thinking about that because I'm like, but if there's all this stuff there, and I don't think so either. I don't think that's too tight of a timeline. Look what Koberger did, or apparently did.
But that also makes me think that he wasn't in a rush when he was there, so the things that he did may not have been purposely mindful, but mindful all the same. Do you know what I mean? Like he had time to
he had
do
time.
what was done.
Mm-hmm.
So which makes it all the more, to me, confusing. Like
Right.
what?
He did what it was in part of his fan. He went there to do what he had in his mind.
Yeah.
So whatever he saw in his mind, he went there and he did it.
Yeah, because typically you would think that he would, if anything, he would just be picking up leaves and sticks and throwing them on the girls or whatever, trying to cover up. But this is someone that took their time to do those sticks, and yeah, and then the timeline doesn't seem so small to me, to be honest, anymore.
No, and redressing Abby, that would take time, and it was unnecessary for the purpose of committing the crime. Do you know what I mean? Like it.
And that is hard to
Yeah.
redress somebody post mark. That is a hard thing to do.
Yeah. Figgy, can you do me a favor? Can you screenshot that? You have 3 Fs in your video, I believe it is. Can you screenshot that for me and send it to me in Messenger, and then I'll pull it up here? Could you do that for me if you have a second? And then I'll gladly show that again.
Even what I was saying this afternoon, like even if somebody's drunk and you're trying to help them get their coat or something on, is hard enough, right?
Yeah.
It's very time consuming.
Okay. Now I want to go to this one that's in front of us here, guys. Because this is one of the ones that stood out to me. And so, I'm just going to read it from the top, just, to give clarity to this post. But it says, it's tough because it's both not that remote and still remote due to the terrain. So the side they were found on is a private property. But it's like the furthest stretch of that person's land going to the direction, and his house is further south and way up the road. I can't attach pictures here, but his place wasn't close. You have the highway not far from 300, not far when you are out. They feel like you are isolated. It was pretty creepy out there, which obviously he had gone. And there were a lot of wildlife, and I saw a fox, deer, and a coyote at different times. That walk down to where they were, but more than that, out and up of where they were is rough. So the out and up, yeah. It is very high climbing out of there. I'm in good shape. I hunt. I am familiar with dealing with less than ideal conditions. And it wasn't an easy time out there. It wasn't bad, but for most of the guys I've seen tied to this case, it would be more challenging. Knowing the best route and not finding the best route would help greatly. So this part here, if they truly found blood tied to the victims in the Weber's garage, their house is the one with the long drive, okay, that goes under the bridge, right? The house, Weber house, okay, Weber's place. Then I don't see how there wasn't more than one person involved in this. Obviously, it would make no sense that someone left and that also left on 300, both sense that they are opposite sides of the creek. The creek was very low, and I could get within 2 to 3 feet of the opposite bank without getting my shoes wet at all. Then it wasn't still below my knee after that for that short cross. I wish I'd went further south and checked that out better. Anyways, so that part there where it says that they truly found blood tied to the victims in the Weber's garage, their house. Like I hadn't heard that myself, although the Weber's house to me always struck me that, like, for me, I remember, Adam, I don't know if you remember this, but the Weber house, remember
Yeah.
when with the cryptic note and the freaking pendulum just swung? Like it just kept saying Weber's
Um,
house to me. And I always found it strange that Brad Weber, who freaking hates women, he's freaking like,
well,
honestly, if there was ever a perfect BG, that would be the guy. I swear. He won't let people on the land. He just seems like a really
well,
mean, nasty dude.
I do have to say, at this point, I don't think I would either if I was Brad Weber.
Right, but he hasn't, like, it seems like, and I agree with this assessment. It seems like if it's a guy, different story. But if it's a female,
Sorry.
get off my lawn before I shoot you.
You-
He's so that's my impression too. But anyways, so I always thought it was odd, and I believe if I'm not mistaken, at the time that he seemed to show up on the 14th, I want to say it was around 3:30, 3 o'clock, 3:30. That
You've been
August,
at work.
pardon,
You on the 13th or the 14th?
on the 14th.
Okay, because I know on the 13th he was at work.
No,
I
the
believe
14th.
if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Um,
But it just seemed strange that he just kind of all of a sudden, like it stuck in my head for a long, like always. It was that one thing
I,
about Brad Weber that stuck in my head.
I've heard the rumors about the garage. We've not seen anything
That's
factual. But like I said, I've heard things. I will say, like I mean, anyone can look at an overhead view of the Weber property, and I know people that know Kay and that know Brad, and I think it's better rather than to say garage when they're talking about this. I think it's more accurate to call it an outbuilding. I grew up on a farm, like I grew up, in a little town on a farm, so I would call the area of the property they're talking about an outbuilding.
So yeah, because look at
As
Wonder Girl.
opposed to a garage. But I don't think there was an actual search warrant for the Weber property because I think that law enforcement were given immediate
access.
I think they were given permission to to access whatever parts of the property they wanted. I mean, even so much that, we know that, Julie Melvin has talked about her conversations with Kay, where she said that, they spent a lot of time in the bathroom looking at the drains.
Right. But
So
Wonder Girl says they
I'm
did
not giving any
find-
credence to those rumors, but I'm also not discrediting them because we haven't seen actual physical evidence to it.
Okay, so Wonder Girl says they searched the Weber property 6 times. They were there for days, and the final time they searched was in August of 2017. They did find evidence there. Wonder Girl, to ask you then, how do we know they found evidence there? And are you willing to say what evidence they found there? Was there the blood? If they truly found blood, because this seems more like him hearing about it or knowing about it, but obviously he's saying if they truly found blood to the victims in the Weber outhouse. Yeah.
Is this the rumor about the motorcycle? Is this the one?
It has to do with it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and Lexa, you said, so as I'm kind of seeing if Wonder Girl's going to say anything there, and thanks Wonder Girl again for always joining us. Lexa, you wanted to answer somebody's question?
Yeah. If you can scroll up, Miranda had asked a question.
Sure. Miranda's. And yes, Michelle, to that, which is Miranda's question.
Alexa, do you think this is a CSAM case?
Okay. Let me just, do you know what timestamp it's at?
No.
Okay.
I don't see time.
No, I must have missed it. Miranda.
I don't know how your questions come.
Well, I'm not.
Well, basically, she was asking, do you think this is a CSAM case? I do believe so. Even though, they claim that the girls were not sexually assaulted, it doesn't have to be. I always believe that this was a part of a fantasy. And, we don't know
Right.
what he did. What he did after they were alive, we don't know if he pleasured himself. And, and for the rest of his life, every time he pleasures himself, that would be the memory attached that he had. We don't know. So it doesn't usually have to have, any type of penetration or any type of, sexual act, but it can be a symbolic. And sometimes also on the first time that they own alive, they don't do that because they can't. And they go escalating. That's why a lot of and it goes for the rapists too. A lot of the rapists, they start raping and then they start escalating to get, until they start unaliving people. So it's the same for this type of S case. So I always believe it was.
Thanks, Alexa. Sorry if somebody else wants to. Let's see. Hold on. Let me go back to this. Various things were found at the Weber's property. Fortson did give hints in his post, but phrased it as a speculation. I do not believe the girls were there on there. So is there other posts? There's so many posts that we read, honestly. So, okay. Various things were found at the Weber property. So,
Is there anybody here that's willing to address the motorcycle rumor, if it's a rumor? Tracks, motorcycle, Weber's property, leaving and coming back, any of that?
Can you guys
there,
talk about it? Because, I
what
kind of
about
know, but I don't know.
No, that's just what I'm saying. I've heard bits and pieces here and there, but nobody's ever put anything together as a theory or scenario. Like none of it makes sense. So just like make it make sense to what we know so far.
So yeah.
Is this the shed? Is that the shed is that the shed that it was always talked about? Was this the one in this property or no? Is this
I have no idea. No idea. This is all just news and rumors to me, but
I guess what Charmaine is saying is that we know exactly what you're talking about, but why are people holding back from talking about it? Everyone's talking about it in the creator section, in a sense. But so why is nobody talking about, what was found? Like, why is this is what I was talking about with someone today.
Hmm.
Like there's things that have been thrown out there, left, right, and center, falsehoods, bullshit, rumors, all this time. All of a sudden,
Well,
why does this one become so important? It doesn't. I don't understand it.
Okay,
So
but if it's true and it has DNA, I don't care. I mean, that's one more thing that that puts
well,
them out there.
and that's the thing is, the only bit of the evidence that we know is confirmed is that in the evidence taken from Richard Allen's home, there was a motorcycle cover taken.
Mm-hmm.
right. That's in
The
the
speculation and honestly, I forgive me if I don't remember this verbatim, but the rumor is, and I'm not saying I believe it or I don't believe it, because I don't know, and everyone knows that I don't believe anything until I see it with my own eyes.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you addressing at least the rumor, just to straight, because there's just these bits and pieces floating out
Right.
there, and so I appreciate it. I'm sorry. Continue.
The rumor, to the best of my recollection, has to do with some tire tracks outside of the outbuilding of the on the Weber property that were a match to a tire track that was on the outside of a motorcycle cover that was taken from the property of Richard Allen. The rumor also states that there was blood DNA of Libby and Abby found on 3, I believe, items inside the outbuilding of the Weber property.
Adam. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry. No. Go ahead. Sorry. I don't want to cut you off there because finish your thought.
So I mean, there's never been, to my knowledge, I have never seen any conclusive piece of evidence to say this is true or untrue. But that is, in a nutshell, is the motorcycle Weber property rumors or speculation.
So I was going to say, because it's like, I heard that, but didn't tell you that. So you heard that as well, obviously. And I'm glad you said that because I don't understand why people are dancing around and tiptoeing around this. And that's what Charmaine was asking. Because
And also, how does that, because the PCA took a lot of time pointing out that CCTV and the timestamps of Rick Allen's car being spotted and him walking on 300 North. And so how does that work with a motorcycle theory in any way, shape, or form? I'm confused. I'm sorry. And I know it's all rumors. And if you can shed light, I'd really appreciate it.
I think it has to do with the cover, right? I think that the cover that they claim that the cover has some DNA.
So, right. So let's stop for 1 second. So Wonder Girls has been saying that there's evidence, and then now she just said that the physical evidence tracks are also biological evidence from Weber's property. Now Fig up here is saying no evidence was found at the Webers. Nobody has ever said that until the thumb drive stuff came out. How come not before?
That's true.
If somebody can show me evidence, I'll change my mind. So right, exactly. And the thing is that I've never seen this. And then he's correct. We never heard of this up until that thumb drive.
And gossiping and spreading stories, yes, absolutely. But stating it as fact, and that's where my issue lies. Is it rumor or is it fact? Because it's being stated as fact. period.
Exactly. And that's, and I'm never the best judge on this because, like I said, I don't believe anything until I see it with my own eyes.
Well, Wonder Girl,
Um,
yes, so he posted something.
but we know that one thing we know factually is that in the evidence list of things that were recovered from Richard Allen's home, there was a motorcycle cover. That's an anomaly that a lot of people have referenced, a lot of people have talked about, and it's true. It is weird. We don't know. I didn't even know that Richard Allen owned a motorcycle.
Me neither.
Um,
But obviously there was the cover thing.
the connection to the Weber property is something I've not seen physical evidence of myself. I've heard very compelling accounts of it, and by people I trust and and believe. But
Yeah.
again, until I see something with my own eyes, I never believe something fully. So,
Well,
there, like Ivy had said a little bit ago, but I think it was like, why would he? Because remember, think if you think about the fact that, like, at what point would the girls and Richard or whoever when would they have been on the Weber property? Before they were murdered, and then and then they went across the creek and were killed, or what? Did he go there after? Like that, I would have to see more information before I even entertain some of it.
Yeah, and black and white.
But
by
I
the
appreciate it.
so and that's where too, myself, or Alexa, I probably cut you off right there. You go ahead.
No. I was just saying that I usually, until I don't see it from the police, can't. I mean, I know that a lot of people have inside information, and a lot of stuff has turned true. But I mean, we don't know yet, and like
Right.
anything, we don't even know what they have still.
Well,
Could I mean, because the whole motorcycle cover, that's a factual thing. We have that in the evidence. So, like, I'm curious, even if you take away the Weber property part of it, what factual reason could there be for them taking a motorcycle cover into evidence?
right.
I can speculate that, like the first thing that came to my mind was the motorcycle cover in the trunk of his vehicle, and they got DNA off of the motorcycle cover from it being in the vehicle that he was driving, because he wasn't driving the motorcycle. Oh wait, Wonder Girl says Alan drove over the cover with the motorcycle. The motorcycle was gotten rid of. The track on the cover matches the print recovered from the Webers. And see, that's just that's the main part of that I question, because motorcycles are loud, and I don't. I mean, if he drove in his car, how did he drive with a motorcycle as well? So I'm just
Thank you.
The cover does not pertain to bio evidence. No, and that's why I was saying the cover was, the cover. Like I said, the way I was told it was that the cover had a tire track on the outside of the cover that matched a tire impression from the Weber property. And I even heard that the motorcycle cover had actually been used to like craft something, and so the bio evidence I heard that they found in the Weber outbuilding was separate than the motorcycle cover, but I can't make sense of it until I actually see more information. So I wanted to answer Charmaine's question, because a lot of people have danced around that and talked about it, but I don't think I have heard anyone say what the actual rumor was, and that's the rumor I heard, at least to the best of my recollection. And if I misstated something, I apologize.
Mm-hmm. What I know, I want to say this. What I know is that there's some really, there's really good people with the intent of trying to shed light on the case. that's part I appreciate. But because I've never seen a file that's claiming to be going around, a file of the evidence. We've seen a map of the thumb drive. And Criminality showed it on her show. I'd seen parts of it before that, of course, on Brandon Woodhouse's thing. Baldwin admits that that happened to it, in a sense that this thumb drive map or whatever, came out. But the thing is kind of like this motorcycle thing, for instance. Yes, there's the evidence that they took that from his house, but there's nothing that I visually have seen that I can personally say is fact. So now whether Wonder Girl has is a different story, because only she knows that answer, and that's hence maybe why she's saying this. Me, I could never call it fact because I've never seen nothing to support that. And that to me becomes it possibly is true. But until I see something like myself that says, yes, okay, then yes, then I would never claim it as fact, at least on this channel. Besides, um, looking to what Fig says, looking to what Wonder Girl says, and then it gives me pause for thought. Okay, well, let me think about this. You're right. A motorcycle is loud. Why would somebody go back, and stuff like that? So this is kind of like, in a sense, new news to me. Heard mumblings about it. Wonder Girl has shared definitely a lot of things, and appreciate that as always from Wonder Girl. And Fig has said the opposite, because he's saying too, show me something that then I can go, okay, this is fact. Like this is true, you know. So that's what makes it hard. So all I'm trying to say is to anyone watching this live at this moment, again, take everything with a grain of salt. And if think of maybe perhaps why that the motorcycle cover was taken, and think about, does it seem likely that the evidence, like this person, that Richard Allen or whatever, went over to the Weber farm and stuff like that? But I can't claim it as fact. I haven't seen anything. So I'll leave it as, there's a thought.
Right.
I'll think about it. And I'm going to,
But
I'll think
that
about
is
it.
the story, at
And
least.
can I ask a question? I'm sorry for my ignorance. How far is the Weber's house, or where exactly is it located?
Sure.
Or
Let me-
It's the
I'll pull
private
it up
drive.
on Google.
the drive? Yeah.
Right.
I'll-
So I mean, if you're standing facing the south end of the bridge, south end, right? It would be to the right there,
Oh, okay.
whereas
And
the girls were found at the left.
Right, and did I hear that the south side or whatever would be the quickest route towards Rick Allen's house from that side of the bridge? Did I hear that right somewhere?
I mean, because if you're on foot, yeah.
Or motorcycle? I'm not trying to add to the rumor or anything, but like the person that's
Yeah, I
saying
know.
this is very, to me, credible, right? So
But anyone that would have returned to the scene there, one, the girls were already being searched for after 3:30 p.m. Two, Brad Weber was home, and so a motorcycle going up his private drive would have been
heard.
I mean, we know he's very aware of what's going on the property.
Would have been heard, it would have been seen, and like I said,
The
it
search
would
was
have been
on.
heard by the other searchers unless there were other ATVs and motorcycles being used in the search. But even then, they would probably have that logged somewhere. So it's just a really hard to believe rumor that has been put out there as fact based on that evidence index. And so
there could have been a jet ski on. No, I'm kidding.
the jet ski wasn't on there, Adam. I was all over that one too. But I'm just saying.
I'm sticking with the jet ski. It's my favorite theory. It always has been.
Personally, I like the canoe down the middle of the creek myself, but the jet ski is a good one too.
Okay, hold on a second here. Okay, yeah, I still got Palladino on the freaking thing. Anyways, so this is the K. Weber home there. This is, so which one is considered this outhouse here? Was it this one? This one? Which one? Which one's considered the outshed?
Actually, I'd have to go back and look. I don't remember.
Well, let's see.
I have a picture of it somewhere, but
Wonder Girl or
that would take
Fig.
me forever to go back and find.
No, it's okay. Wonder Girl, or anyone. Which one of these would be consider the outbuilding? Would it be the furthest one to the south? Would it be the one that's beside the house? Which one has, I don't know, A, B, or C? A being closest to the house, B being the one with the blue roof, and C being this one. Do you know by chance?
Mm.
So that we can kind of have that thought, perhaps, that visual.
Daisy says those search dogs sure would have been handy.
Mhm.
I agree.
What did you say? Those search dogs. Daisy, right? Can't do and shit would have been a kid do. That's funny. It's not funny, you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
funny, but it's like you can't change what has happened.
Right.
I'm just wondering
Oh,
which was not attached. Well,
thank
neither
you.
of those are attached.
What was Miranda Lee said? Can you answer? What was the question from Lala? I missed it. I apologize.
If what was it? If the crime scene pictures were blacked out.
Yes. Blacked out.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning
Like
over
to cover
the
the private scene, like the private parts. No,
Yeah.
yes, they absolutely were.
Yeah. You
no,
wouldn't.
but she's asking if the crime scenes are usually blacked out.
Oh, no, I actually, I did comment on
Oh,
that. I said, Lala, that's a good question because I would like to know the answer to that too, because a question I had was, if the crime scene photo in its original form, I doubt it would have been
No, and the original form, they're not.
censored. I would assume the picture that was laying on the desk in Andrew Baldwin's office was not censored.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that would have had to have been done by
The person who sent them.
presumably Mitch Westerman or someone else that he sent them to.
Did the
Alexa,
crime?
you may know better.
Yeah, the crime, and they don't. They, I believe that they didn't have any markers, right? The crime scene pictures.
Well, no, there is some sort of marking in the photos that I can't tell if it's a watermark, whether it's a stamp. I can't tell, but there is
No, but I
something
mean by
in one of the
markers, but I
photos. At
mean
least
like
that's
rulers to see how big, like like if the wound or like police
right.
markers. I don't think I think I heard that they didn't have any official markings.
Fig Sauls is going to call Kay Weber tomorrow. Fig, I'll talk to you later, and we can conference call her.
how was that? Fig. I will call Kay tomorrow. What do you want me to ask her so I can? Yeah. Wait. Have you talked to her before, Figgy? Um.
Have you not? I'm kidding.
Yeah. No, like I'm serious though. Have you talked to Kay Weber before? Because yeah, if you could, say if something is true or not true and knock off any rumor, we love that. Instead of it floating around like that it's just rumor instead and not really fact or whatever. That would
I will
be
say I asked that
But what
question.
rumor
I
would
didn't
she
get an
know?
answer.
But what
uh,
rumor would she know about? Like they're not
Well,
it's
they're
her
not
home.
being accused of being involved, are they? Like
well,
No.
what I asked was, what parts of the property did they spend a lot of time on? Other than the bathroom, and as far as the outbuildings, what was the extent of that? And I didn't get a conclusive response to it. But I wasn't as direct as Fig probably would be.
you're right, Peace Train motorcycles are very loud. Doesn't even matter what kind you have, if it's a dirt bike, if it's a street bike, cruiser, whatever. They're all very loud, and if you're riding out in a wooded area like that, especially with the hills and slopes, I mean, it echoes. I've done it. I've heard it. It echoes, and unless there were other bikes and ATVs out there, it would have been heard at the very least, if not seen. with no leaves or anything on the trees. It just, there's no sneaking in or out of anywhere on a motorcycle. Unless it was hidden somewhere and he walked down and walked back out, but that would take time and energy after brutally murdering 2 little girls. Like I don't understand it.
I'm here. I'm present.
Mm.
I
Well,
was
Ivy Rose just said here, Julie said that Kay told her that search a lot in the bathroom. Well, that makes sense, right? Because police wanted to make sure that, he didn't clean up in the bathroom. So usually you check the drains. You will, especially the drains to see if they don't, even if you wash your hands, there will be some DNA collected on inside the drains. So that would make perfect sense why they
Yeah,
much.
it always made sense to me because like I said, Fig said he's heard that. I've heard that story from Julie several times, and it's always made very natural sense to me, the way that it's been told from Kata to Julie. So, and it's an element of it though I never heard of, which is why I inquired about it. So. Yeah, and Fig's right. It was actually Kay's other son that anyone was most worried about. Carol, that's gonna be an expensive phone call if Fig says you have to call her, calling all the way from Australia. Sunny, are you muted?
no, I'm talking behind the scenes.
Oh,
I'm letting you guys to somebody that I'm not telling you about. It's a secret. I'm gonna. But anyways, no. I just didn't want you to hear the typing from my keyboard. But I was just figuring that you guys could sit there and talk about things because that's why Alexa's here. To give her thoughts on it, and everyone's got a ton of questions in the thing.
Good night, Shelly.
Is Shelly heading out? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
I
Fig?
actually have to go. I actually have to go soon too. So
Yeah,
I've got
Good
a
night,
few more
Shelly.
minutes, but
Night, Shelly. We'll go like 20 more minutes, eh? Is that okay? It's
Yeah.
9:38. 20 more minutes, you guys. Did Fig? Did you ever ask me? Has he talked to Kay Weber before? Did he say? Brad wasn't some Kay most concerned. Fig. I just don't remember if I didn't see the answer to that. I'm only saying putting rumors to rest because I've heard her story from Julie
I'll be
million
right back.
okay.
times.
Look at someone's being uppity.
Who?
That's called an alibi in the business.
Brad was at work. That's called an alibi. I think I don't usually do this, but I'm actually think I'm gonna have to come back and re-watch the replay on the live in the chat going on because it's kind of like I don't know what everything's been said. I go away for a minute and then the chat's like way down here. She did, but I didn't know if Fig did he answer me. Fig, did you answer me on that? Have you ever talked to Kay Weber before?
Hey, Wonder Girl. Have a good night.
Wonder Girl, thank you very much. You have a great night. Thank you. Well, I believe Baldwin had Mitch leak the photos to confirm the Odin. Oh, let's go back to that. Wait.
Oh wait. What were we talking about originally? I'm kidding. Thank you, Lala. I believe Baldwin had Mitch leak the photos to confirm the Odin theory. I agree. The diagram created. I speculate. I should say.
You speculate.
The diagram created by news teams prior to leak looked like SHIT and needed their theory confirmed prior to trial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And one of the deleted Reddit posts by Fortson, I feel like was very telling of the whole purpose of the 136-page memorandum, the crime scene photos, everything. It's vague, but I felt like it, was very telling. And I can't remember where it was, but let me see if I can find it real quick, Sonny, because I know, like I said, I have to go soon. But
Oh, okay. What are you sending? Come on, you farmers. What kind of homes, what kind of houses, things, barns are these? That doesn't look like, this looks like a big barn thing. That looks like a little shack of some sort. Same with that one, but I don't know. I'm not a farmer. Or like, I don't live on land like that. I know what a shed looks like if I see one. But this isn't exactly 3D. I can't exactly zoom in down there. To like you can on certain things. There's no the marker doesn't come up for that private drive because it's private, I suppose. I just don't understand how anyone could see those pics and think they're consistent. That's how I feel. Like, if people really did the research on an Ephron, we know it doesn't go with Odinism. If again, they have no explanation for Libby. And they tried to say that was an asterisk on Abby. That's really all that they had to go on. And again, I mean, at the end of the day, I just get that all they're trying to do is, add the reasonable doubt. Like that, there's no if at, like that is the line for them. That's all they need to do. And if the public sees it, well, I mean, exactly what happened in here, the whole freaking thing went wild. Odinism, everyone's right. And you have to at least, look at this to see what is true and what's not that they're putting in that thing in that memorandum, or sorry, what is true, what is speculation, and what is just kind of far-fetched in a sense. But, so they created this story, speculation, whatever, to put out to the public on purpose. That's a given. And just to create some reasonable doubt, right? So if there's a person that happens to see, this, I mean, to me, they doing exactly what they were supposed to do. It's just that either people will buy the shit, or, or the ones that actually really deep dive into it will understand that a lot of the stuff, like the whole F tree and sticks on Libby, explain that away then. And I don't even believe that the freaking Purdue thing person lied either. That I think it was I can't remember who that was. I know the name, but for some reason it's eluding me right now. But anyways, we're saying, well, did the Purdue professor lie? Fig or somebody. Only because I keep meaning to go back to that. I don't think that it was a bold-faced lie or anything like that. Because, but I would need to have what both things were said, So does anyone? Sweet said that. Actually, now that I was looking for it, he was talking about this professor, right? One of them saying that no, he said that it, wasn't Odinism. I think, but could possibly be someone trying to whatever. But that there was, no Odinism type of thing to it. And then the defense is saying, well, no, the professor said that there was, or whatever it was said. So does anyone want to make my brain feel better on that one right now? Anybody? No?
I can't even. No, I
Yeah.
can't.
It's okay. It's something I keep meaning to go back to because I don't, it's kind of like I don't want to say it wrong if I'm not factual about what was said to the LE. Do I think it was funny a little bit that they were like, oh, like, or at least the way that the defense made it, like, oh yeah, I don't know. This person just moved away. Nobody knows where he is. Oh, boom, the next day. Like there was something weird about that whole thing. And then all of a sudden, Ellie, like interviewed him type of thing, like before. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how it went. I need to get my facts together properly before I keep talking about it, before I look like a doofus myself. Michelle, I'm not sure what ruckus means. You'll have to ask him. Is there to be another arrest? Not sure what they were waiting for. Um, I see the crime in two layers. Defense concentrated on the unaliving. Hey, Travis. Um, the defense concentrated on the unaliving site, but offered nothing about the abduction on the bridge, and that's all RA needed to have committed to be guilty. Carol, Miranda Lee, sorry, using one of my words, huh? Okay, rather not say. Um, Michelle, I say that the utmost respect for Ruckus. It's just frustrating wanting to get all the. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie, right? It is, and we've had to do it before too, where you can say so much, but you don't say everything and stuff like that. Um, and that's kind of what's been happening a bit there, and I hate that stuff. I do.
Right.
I just want to let loose on information,
Of
right?
course.
You don't want to betray the trust of
And and I like Ruckus, but
but oh, is there a but?
has he? I mean, I heard somewhere that he said that he had all of the discovery. I've not heard him say that myself, but
I've heard it.
I don't think that that Ruckus has all of the discovery.
He said it though. He claims to.
I mean, the ex-defense team even claimed that they didn't have it all.
Mhm.
So,
And why?
and like I
This
said,
is the problem.
nothing against Ruckus, but I doubt he has all of the discovery.
And how would he know if he had it all anyways? Like, honestly.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not dissing Ruckus at all, but I don't think that's a statement that someone could know the answer to 100%.
I think they said in the
I
deposition.
agree.
Yeah, let me. Ivy sent me something here, so let me. Thank you, Ivy. Let me just see here. Close that off. Appreciate that, you guys, when you help out like that. Thank you for being so efficient, Ivy. Ivy's a great person, by the way. I love Ivy too. I mean, not too, but you know what I'm saying. She's very smart. She's quick. Whenever I ask something or whatever, uh, unlike my disorganized self, to be honest with you. But there's some really. I want to say this actually. I'm going to say this right now while I'm getting this up. I want to say that I love the people so much that are in our private chat group. And there's a handful of us, can't remember if it's 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever. I'd have to count, but I
It's
want to
two
say,
handfuls.
yeah, 2 handfuls. I guess it's 2, isn't it? But I wanted to say this. I was thinking about this the other day.
Wait, why am I not in that group?
You are in that group. You're in that same freaking messenger group. But
Just because you don't participate.
I know you see him peeking every once in a while, but I honestly wanted to say to all of you, Ivy, Deb, Charmaine, and others that are in that group, Adam. But I just want to say I really love my friends from this group. They are such good, kind-hearted, loving, caring people. Like they are truly the epitome of what people should be like or strive to be like. I'm not saying that none of you guys are on the outside of this group, but I just wanted to literally tell you my appreciation because there's true friends. Alexa's in the group. There's true friends, and then there's the fake friends and whatever. These people in this group are true friends, and Lewis is in the group, and Anne's in the group, and Callie's in the group. But it's just a group of us, and we all do our little own thing, da 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 da. But I really just wanted to say how much I love you people, just for being the genuine, honest people you are, and I just so much love you guys for that purpose. We talk about things, we discuss things. We don't always agree on everything, but it's not like there's no drama. Who this is in the group? I'm just Ivy's in the group, and it's just great people. So I wanted to say that to you guys. I love you guys. You guys are amazing.
I'm in this group.
Get out of the group. Get out. I'm kicking you out. No, but yeah, and but
I'm just playing with it. I agree with what Sunny's
and
saying.
like and for all the mods. Okay, at this moment, though, yes, I'm talking about the group as a whole. For the one that we're in, I just want to say I love you guys. Amazing, loving people with such kind hearts, and you couldn't ask for better friends. I've never really cared about if I had friends or not. I usually had a few. So say that. And yes, for all the mods, for all the great friends that aren't in this group. It's a very private group, and it's one of those ones that we don't want it to be, big and whatever. We have to trust you in the biggest way in order to even be allowed in this particular group, because there's a standard of true great friends in there, and it just kind of has built. When you feel like someone is in there, oh, Mustang's in there. When you feel like someone is in there, you know what I mean? And then you invite someone, and it's like I would never invite anyone if I ever did not trust them 100%. There is one person that did come and go that wasn't so trustworthy, but other than that, I love you guys. And yes, Andrew, thank you guys to all the mods and all the good people that come in here. And you guys know at this channel, we try to keep the trolls out, like stay away, don't cause drama. We're here to, be kind and caring and loving to each other, respect each other's decisions or opinions and stuff like that. And we just don't put up with drama in this. So I love that about the channel. And I don't know, I just feel like, and the best Oscar goes to Sunny. No, just kidding. But anyways, I love you guys, by the way, so much. It was just something I wanted to say that I was thinking about the other day, just what good friends that we have here. And
People in chat are kind of bringing up, or a couple are bringing up, the perpetrator possibly being a fanboy of Odin or Odinism. And at first I was on board with that, but if you're like a true fan of something, you're going to mimic as closely as you can. And I don't think that was. And
yeah.
I'd be more apt to believe maybe somebody who had, say, a drinking problem, spent the weekend binge drinking and come across a show like Vikings or something and tried to recreate something that in his drunk mind thought looked pretty cool, or before I'd believe he was an actual Odinism fanboy, if that makes sense. Because if he was a true like fanboy or wannabe, I think he'd be more accurate in his depictions. You know what I mean?
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
That's just my opinion, but
same. I would absolutely agree on there. So Ivy sent me this, and it was about what we were talking about, the Purdue, since it was asked. So why would Holman and the Unified Command try to hide the name of the Purdue professor, even risking ridicule for the absurdity that they could not remember his name? The answer is obvious. Once taped statement played. So Dr. Turco stated that after viewing the pattern on the sticks of the girls, it was given that someone was trying to replicate Germanic script. So let's stop at that line right there. Okay. So Germanic runic script, that's supposed to refer to exactly what?
I mean, I'm sure you could Google it and find out exactly, but it's probably something not dissimilar to runes without it being actual runes.
Right.
So I've never looked at Germanic script before, but maybe there's something there. Obviously, this Purdue professor saw something that he thought could resemble something like that, but it doesn't mean it is that. And there's no connection to Richard Allen being an Odinist or a heathen or Norse pagan or anything like that. So, I mean, the fact is, we don't know. The only thing we know about this is we don't know anything about it, really. Factually.
I mean, I'm reading about it, but I'm not going to go into you guys can Google that yourselves too. But so furthermore, Dr. Turco consulted with his colleague from the Harvard who had even more knowledge of the runes. And this Harvard professor was in agreement with Turco. Furthermore, Dr. Turco stated that Odinism is an extreme neo-pagan, neo-heathenism ideology that was right-wing racist connotations. Furthermore, Dr. Turco stated that according to the 19th century sources, the Vikings practiced ritual and sacrifices. Furthermore, Dr. Turco stated that although he could not necessarily interpret these runes, that the stick configurations were pretty clearly runic, and that he could certainly imagine that this was somebody's idea, that when you do a human sacrifice, you carve runes. I don't know. I think they're freaking ass playing on things here a bit. But let me just scroll back. I gotta go right to the right thing.
Well, and remember, did they plan? I'm sorry, but did this group of Odinists plan this entire ritual without an actual sacrifice? If you believe it was a last minute decision to go to the trails,
I gotta bring that back up. Adam, I'm sorry. I was
Yeah.
too busy panicking that I said that. Can you say that one more time, please? That you
I said, well, you'd have to also then be like, okay, did this whole group of Odinists plan this ritualistic killing without a sacrifice? If you believe that the girls went there at the last minute, like we were told according to Becky, and
Right.
if they didn't go there at the last minute, how is there no evidence on their phone of being lured there, or of them telling someone they'd be there?
Mhm.
So I'm just
Now,
like,
did
it's a
she-
very well thought out, huge, detail planned thing for Elvis Fields to be there at 8:30 a.m. and then all of these things have to happen for at 2:13 there to be someone waiting for them on the bridge. But
I'm going to take you in the Wayback Machine here and just ask a question that I cannot
Please do.
remember. Do we know for sure that Anthony Schatz talked to
Really?
Libby on the 13th in the morning?
no, we
Was
do
that
not.
okay? Okay.
Wait,
It's
what?
been presumed that it was that morning, but it's never been confirmed.
Wait,
Okay.
what? For what? Say
That
it
it was
again?
the morning of the 13th that Anthony Schatz talked to Libby.
Yeah.
We know that he said it was one of the last people to talk to Libby.
No,
but
that
we've never
day.
actually seen confirmation of it.
That's a lie. That's a lie right there. I'm sorry, but that's a lie.
What?
They said that day you were one of the last people to talk to Libby that day. What wasn't true was was that he didn't plan to meet up with her that day. You need to go back and read that again.
But
So
that was
if
also in
that
the
comes
King
from,
Klein transcript, which they can
Yeah.
lie in they can lie in an interview.
they also brought up Ski Mask Girl and
Well-
a bunch of other stuff in that transcript that
Yeah.
might not be true either, and they're allowed to lie
true,
in those,
but-
and that's why I wasn't sure if it was ever like confirmed.
And that's the only reason I said we haven't seen actual confirmation of it, because we know other things that they possibly could have lied about.
In that
We just don't
transcript,
know.
correct. So in that transcript, correct. They did say that day on the 13th. So agreed that they can say things that they want to try to get them to say things. And that might be the case here. So Adam, if you referenced it because of that's what you're saying there, then absolutely. But so many people got mixed up with the fact
Mhm.
that he said, oh, that was the girl I was supposed to meet. That was to Libby's friend, that the sleepover girl, the ski mask
Right,
thing.
right, right.
And then,
Right.
but everyone references it like he was supposed to meet up that day, and it never said that at all.
But we
and-
do know that Kelsey is the one that found that conversation. She reached out to quote Anthony Schatz, but
Be
we
nice
still
if
don't know
someone
if it
could
was on
interview
the
him this
13th.
weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah. And but the thing is, Adam, I wanted to go back to one thing that you just said there. So according to Becky, it was a last minute thing. But if you go to what's his name? Snowburger. He says in that interview that he knew Libby was going to the bridge that next day. But to Becky,
Right.
yeah, it was a last minute thing. So
Yeah.
obviously Libby wasn't being like totally honest then, because she obviously didn't say it, but yet what's his name? Snowburger?
Max.
Max.
But yeah, which is why I also said. But then you would think there would be presumably evidence on Libby's phone telling people they were going to be there. So if the Odinist theory is believable, you would think there's got to be some sort of evidence
Right.
that would point towards it.
I'd be curious
Because
to know how
to plan
many.
a ritualistic killing that's this detailed and this orchestrated without sacrifices seems kind of a ill-conceived plan.
Like, yeah, and I'm sorry, but the whole Odinism line, in my opinion, is as big as a
course.
crock of shit. Okay, there's nothing that attaches to it, and besides this, and this is their job. This is exactly what they're supposed to do. So, do you look into it and see the accuracy? Now, I think Sweet Dude said something like, "So Holden and whoever it was, what did you say up there, Sweet Dude? You said something about them lying." But how do we know that they're lying and not the other? Like, meaning, or misrepresenting. I think that something's getting misrepresented here, or this Dr. Turco said something differently than back in the day. So who knows where the truth lies there? At the defense who's trying to portray this, or the prosecutors that are saying this, I don't know, but I'm sorry, I can't really find your comment. But you said, who was it that said that anyway? What did he say? Holman, McClelland. Did defense make Holman and McClelland lie about the Purdue reports in sworn affidavits? Was the question. And
I'd say no.
I'd say no too.
I would actually be really interested, because honestly, anytime I hear I'm with whoever said it, KK, MS, and now it's gotten to the point where Odinism, when I hear that brought up with this case, like my eyes roll so hard, I get a headache. I would like to know, like, how many people actually think that that's still a possibility. Like, are people in chat still willing to consider that possibility that Odinist did this?
Oh, I hope not.
Or have we kind of moved past
Can we
that
go back?
and realize what was actually going on here? And
Right.
understand that even though they probably
Right.
would have had legitimate Frank's issues in that memorandum, but it got so
According to
muddied up with all of the Odinism stuff that none of it was being taken seriously, to the point now where we're at the Supreme Court arguing over, do you know what I mean? Like, it got so
Right.
muddy because of all this Odinism stuff, which is, to me, in my opinion, clearly a misdirection.
Well, hey, Monday morning. I mean, is
Right.
anyone going to
D-Day.
be in Indianapolis on Monday morning? Just curious, asking for a friend.
Man, I would drive there. I could drive there. Maybe I'd drive there. Sonny, you've got your passport. Do you want to drive
Charmaine,
there?
I'm calling border control.
I'm pretty sure Travis said he was hopping on the next plane, so he's gonna get on the plane, then do a live with us after it's all. Yeah.
I think it's like a
I'll-
23-hour drive for me. Are you in for a road trip, Sonny?
What?
Road trip.
Road trip, right?
calling-
Pick me up on the way.
I'm calling border control, and I'm also going to let Bob Mata know that you're on your way.
Okay. Alexa,
Yes.
we've over talked you probably for a while here now, and
No. I was in the bathroom and then I was listening. Mm-hmm.
Abby was 5'4". Thanks, Deb. I was gonna say I don't remember.
Yeah,
And how
they
tall
all were
was
5'4".
how tall was Libby?
5'4". They all were 5'4", from what I heard.
Okay. Now, see, this right here bugs me, because this says, Sweet Dude says, it's not the Odin, it's the prosecution, and Ali lying about it in sworn affidavits about the existence and professor, not the substance. But how do you know that? Like, how do you know that what the defense is saying is true and factual? Or are
But that's what the Franks issue was about, and it got so muddied up that we're
Right.
not hearing about that anymore. That's the whole point that I'm trying to make, Sonny. There
Right.
might be very legitimate issues that
absolutely?
need to be addressed, but nobody is talking about it.
But to sit here and think that it's true for a fact when we don't know, but
It's the same as anything else. It's the
right,
same as all this other junk.
you know. So I mean, just because the defense is saying it and they're trying to have a Frank's motion to prove it, but we don't really know the full context of it because we haven't seen that evidence or whatever to show that. So that's my thing. So you can't say that to me that prosecution is lying until we actually know ourselves what a ruling is on that. If it was deemed as giving unfactual, information, or maybe it was just twisted in our eyes, like this whole Odinism thing, but yet they must have a fight or stance for it. We understand that. And maybe the person said two different things. Maybe there is some shadiness going on there, but maybe there is, maybe there's not, but we don't know.
But then, like I keep saying, though, that goes both ways. Yeah, we have no idea if law enforcement lied or the prosecution lied. We have no
Right.
idea, but we have no idea that the defense isn't telling the truth either. And I don't like being that one person in the room that has to try to sound like I'm sticking up for the defense, because I'm not. But I'm just saying that everything here goes both ways.
Yes.
So
And-
saying
Right.
that
No, I agree.
prosecution, we can't say the prosecution are lying. Well, we can't say the defense is lying.
Right.
Because we don't know.
When I read that, do I agree with Ivy on the sketchiness a bit there of what came out? Again, based on the words, yes, it seemed a little sketchy, but again, it just really boils down to we don't have the physical, interviews in front of us to know really what, so that gets left up to the courts and this Frank's motion and whatever. Anyways, that's only my point, is like when we can't say here with the actual evidence, we can't say what happened with prosecution for sure or defense.
Right.
There's just no way of knowing.
We don't know the whole story yet.
Yeah.
Like we don't know all of the evidence yet. So, but no, Charmaine, I completely 100% understand how you feel.
How could you
So,
not?
and I
It's
think
like I
that's one
don't
of the
shut up about it. My God.
I think that's one of the things that I like the most about people that watch this channel and people that are in our group and whatever, is that people can be respectful and still throw out different theories and ideas and encompass both sides of the coin, without being hateful towards each other.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah, and that's where I find my problem with even some of the channels that I used to love and adore and really admire. I've started to shy away from them because of
Same.
how one-sided. Like you can't even consider the other side. It doesn't matter which side it is. They're either all for the defense and the prosecution is all wrong, or the opposite. And it's like you're not helping anything here. Nobody can see both sides. It's like there is such a thing as a middle ground, and that's usually as close to the truth as you're going to get by sticking to the middle ground.
True. For me personally, like I said, if people want to have an opinion, then they have to respect the rights of others to have an opinion, and that's just called simply maybe a debate between that and this.
Hey, Sunny,
someone,
you know what opinions are. You know what opinions.
I
are
know
like.
everyone has an asshole, right? My thing is this: if someone can't handle what somebody else is saying, because there's always two sides to a coin, and then there's simply fact that is right there in your face that you can't, obviously it's just there, it's factual. But if people can't handle somebody else's opinion, and I'm not even referring to you at all on Stubby on this, by no means. I'm just talking in general because we've had that before. They can't handle somebody else's whatever. They get all pissy. They go play in a sandbox, and it's like, yeah, take your sandbox and then shoo. Because if you're getting upset because somebody else has the right to have an opinion, even if you disagree, be a freaking grown-up, because that's what you are, and act like it. Because we've had that so many times, and those people get booted. Because again, one person's comment, in a sense, isn't better than somebody else's. It gives you food for thought. So as say Stubby is talking about this, type of thing, again, it makes me kind of want to go look back to exactly what was said again, and did it. But again, we don't have the reports regardless in front of us or the interviews. And so Stubby's saying like, well, do you honestly think that the defense would make a Frank's motion about this? But we just don't know the context of it all properly. So that's where the courts can decide that. And if
Mhm.
they determined that Ellie is like full of shit. I mean, there were in the wording, trust me, I was going, what the heck? That sounds a little sketchy. But we don't know the actual truth. You know, the defense is putting it to us that way. But I mean,
And you know, one of the best experiences I had in college was it was in a criminal justice administration, and there was an ethics module in it. And our instructor in that class would ask us for our opinion on some, you know, topic, and it was always a very fiery topic and what our opinion was, and we were usually pretty hardcore on our side of the fence. And he would say, okay, now I want you to debate with so and so, except you're debating opposite of your opinion. You're debating for the side that you would be debating against. And at first it's like, well, how am I supposed to do that? I don't believe in any of that. But you had to, it was college, or you have to figure out a way. And that was the takeaway from that, was such a good experience, because in order to win that debate, you had to start to open your mind and consider things from the other side. That was one of the best takeaways I got from college, which was sad if you think about it. But it was a lot of money to learn how to be open-minded. But
Charmaine, I thought it was free there.
No, nothing is free in Canada.
No, you're right. Hey, that's not true.
I can't tell you my favorite memory from college.
Oh, Adam.
Probably so many. It's more.
I've already seen pictures of it, Adam. Are you kidding?
I was going to say it's probably got a lot to do with dorm and stuff, dorm rooms and parties, sororities. Do you guys have sororities in college, or is that university? Sorority, university? I don't know. We don't have sororities here.
Yeah, well, universities and colleges are the same thing.
Not here.
No, what's going on? Nothing to see here, Louise. Nothing to see. Okay, you know what? Let's get wrapping this up.
Has it been 20 minutes? I gotta go.
Hey, shut up over there. You shut up. Pipe down over there. Alexa, let's start with you. What for tonight or whatever, or just anything to do with anything with the case of whatever you want to say. Just
no. I mean, basically, I go back. A lot of people were asking me if I believe that if I think Richard Allen is the guy in the bridge. I do believe so. I believe that we don't have all the evidence, and I believe that I am hopeful that they do have more than what we think we know, and hopefully he will be convicted. And a lot of people keep saying that, you know, giving him a trial and getting him guilty and putting him behind bars, you know, you will not bring the girls back. But you know what? You want justice, and I do want to see this case, you know, all the way to the end, because, like, you know, I took a deeper appreciation for this case. So that's basically it about Robert. I mean, yesterday I was, you know, I was like, oh, you know, I was saying, you know, he was a little obsessive, and, you know, I didn't understand why was he so much into the crime. But also now, I mean, reading more about him and reading his comments and everything, I found out that not only was he into true crime, but also he was very, very knowledgeable. I mean, it sounded from before, like he had a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
Like he really knew what he was talking about. Very well spoken, you know. So it's sad, that whole thing. I mean, this case keeps getting. Honestly, a month ago, I thought that we were almost at the finish line. I didn't think that we were going to have a trial early January, but I was like, okay, we're getting closer to the finish line. I never anticipated that this whole thing was going to. But, you know, it wouldn't be Delphi without the turns and twists. So we're used to it. So let's hope all this thing passes and we can get to the finish line. And the biggest thing for me is hopefully one day, I don't know if we will get to find out, is I would like to know what was the trigger point for Richard. Was it, you know, and also did his daughter play part of the fantasy, you know? the door looking so much alike to Libby,
Libby, yeah.
you know, and was this, I always believed this was a premeditated, and he knew they were going to be there. They knew that they were going to be there. How was KK? And I mean, obviously, a lot of people say KK is out of the line, that he was not involved, but did he stalk them then? Or did he have conversations? How did he get to them?
Yeah.
Or at least Libby. That's the biggest thing that I would like to know.
As just quickly, as for what do I want to call it? Stubby all the time. Stibby, sweet shibby. I don't know why I want to say stibby. Sweet dudes. We'll cover that in a live right quick here. Okay, we'll go over that stuff. Just the whole things that the prosecution said, and this whole thing that's in front of us about Dr. Turco and stuff like that. But we're not going to get into any more of that tonight, because Charmaine's going to give her last thoughts, Adam, and then myself, and then we're out of here for today. It's been a long day for a lot of us. These two are feeling not well. Adam says he needs to go listen to my voice tonight, so he can fall asleep properly, because he's having sleep.
No, I need to finally sit down and watch Fig's video.
Oh, yes, you do. Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Bad boy. Bad boy. Okay.
Don't tell him.
I've
watched it 3 times.
Yeah. And so thank you for helping to shed light on the timeline of the crime scene leaks, so there will be justice for so many suicides surrounding this case. Hi, Ben. Thank you. Okay. So Charmaine, go ahead. Say your piece.
Well, I'd just like to say thank you to Alexa for being here. I've been waiting to hear your thoughts on some of the stuff that you covered tonight, and I really appreciate it. Helped put my mind at rest of some of the stuff I was thinking. And other than that, I think I've talked enough tonight. Other than I feel really sorry for what happened with Roberts, and I agree with Alexa. He's very well spoken, very knowledgeable, and it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy, and hopefully this Supreme Court stuff will go quickly and smoothly and get everything back on track, so we can see the finish line at least.
Yes, I agree.
Adam?
He left. He's looking for the video.
No, I appreciate everyone being here tonight, and I know we didn't get very far into the post that we thought on Reddit showed that he had prior knowledge to what was coming, but I do appreciate everyone's openness to and kindness towards each other for different thoughts, different theories. I know that like there were a couple of people in the chat tonight that had very opposing views of each other, and I appreciate everyone being respectful of each other. So and I want to say I appreciate Alexa. I appreciate you being here. Your thoughts are always invaluable to me. Charmaine, your thoughts are always invaluable to me, but on a Canadian scale. And Sunny,
Shut up right now. What? Am I pretty? Am I not? Go ahead, Adam.
Sunny, I was just going to say that I appreciate and love you the most. But no, I do. I appreciate all three of you. So thank you everyone for being here, and everyone in the chat. If you could hit the thumbs up button on your way out, it does help the algorithm. I'm not one to selfishly or shamelessly plug the channel, but please,
why not?
Just say, hey, thumbs up, it's free, blah, blah, blah.
We're, like I say, we try to keep it real and honest as, best as we can and stuff like that. We give people a voice to have their opinions and stuff like that. So yeah, it's okay to plug the channel. It's okay to say that.
Well, it's not intentional. I just forget.
We just don't really think to do it half the time.
Right. I mean, how long were we live the other night when I was like, oh wait, I forgot to like it.
Hit the like.
Oh my God.
And Mark just donated $2.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. And thank you to someone for those 3 tacos. Am I missing anything for that? it was tacos, 3 tacos from someone in our
I
Yeah,
forgot
well,
to give membership.
Middle Michelle Mama.
Middle Michelle Mama.
Yeah.
Someone just subscribed named James Agar. Thank you for subscribing. Again, we appreciate that. All this really channel wants to do is grow. Grow as a channel. We like the fact that we try to be just always transparent, truthful, and honest. Put out the information that we feel is the right information, and hopefully, and if we say
Right.
something that's wrong, we don't mind, basically taking that back and retracting and saying, hey, we were wrong or whatever. No problem doing that. It's a very chilled channel, but just always keep it nice. Keep it nice, or the trolls just simply aren't allowed in here. That just won't happen. Okay.
And so, I mean, unless there's something, whatever. I guess we'll see everyone on Monday.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow for True Crime Canada, and
True Crime Canada tomorrow at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific.
should I for the third week in a row say I'm gonna come on?
Yeah, say it, because then I know you're not going to come. If you say it, and I know if he says it, he's not going to come.
I'm going to start to get offended.
Yeah. Last week he was too busy sitting in another channel instead, and I was just like, I bet you any money that Adam's over there. But you know what? Yeah, no. So, you guys,
I like to keep it mysterious. You never know when I'll show up.
Right.
But as far as American crime, no. Who knows what next week will bring?
Absolutely.
Will we see more information about Joel's health? Will we see more information about these? Well, I mean, we know that the Supreme Court just said that the response will have to have come in on the 27th. I know it'll be months before we see an actual response, but
yeah. Well, you know what?
Will we see a January 6th situation pop up from the groundswell?
Right. Oh yeah, the groundswell. Right. Forgot about that. And the new lawyers, will they take
Idiots.
on the whole Odinism line? All these things. You know what? It's sad for the families, but we know that all these things are going on for the reasons that need to happen, whatever. So I'm just looking forward till we get past this stuff to focus back on the case, and say Richard Allen and the trial part and stuff like that. That's where my headspace is at. It's kind of like this stuff is like that little hiccup in the middle, a big hiccup, to be honest with you. And I just feel bad for the families in that.
Yeah.
We just want justice for Abby and Libby. That's the bottom line. Anyone else, I would hope to feel the same way, that, I know a lot of you guys do, that's the goal. And the link for that, like I put out in the other videos, the link for that conversation that you can go look at yourself for Fortson, just click on that link, just put it to comments. Okay. Right. And just go read it all yourself. Go back as far as you want till it goes, and just read it yourself. This dude was a smart guy, and I'm very saddened that he felt the need to leave this earth, because honestly, I really enjoyed reading his stuff with you, Charmaine, and we did it with Adam, and going through this. The guy is very intellectually smart, and just, it saddens my heart, saddens my heart for his family, but saddens my heart that was the outlet that was chosen, sadly. But other than that, I just have appreciated this information. Tonight's live, Alexa, Charmaine, she's probably gonna be like, Sonny, keep this shit up and I'm charging you. No, sorry. We give things away free in Canada, and this is one of them, Charmaine. It's your love. It's your love for me. That's it. Okay. Right, Charmaine, back me up on that. Your love is free. So Charmaine left. She's holding out by saying it. Okay, you guys, am I talking to myself?
No,
Oh,
we're listening.
what happened to Charmaine?
She's too busy in the chat.
I think she was
She
chatting.
probably went to the washroom during the live going, God, I gotta go to the bathroom. Shut the fuck up.
Oh,
Free
her
my
mic
mic is off.
Oh, free my mic is off.
Ah.
Whoa. Can't have the 5 chins
Oh,
come
she
on.
left us.
Yeah, on there. Anyways, you guys definitely
Hey, see through.
necessary. We'll be showing some of it to you. Yeah, so again, tomorrow. Oh, there she is. Did we let her back on? Really? Okay, after that.
I,
You know,
I always like to let people back on so they can say goodbye to me.
Tim, yeah, go ahead. Alexa, I love you. I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
Soon.
Have
Yeah.
a good night, everybody. Stay safe.
I can't. Hey, Alexa, I can't wait to hear that you're feeling better.
Oh, you and me both. Thank you.
Yeah, I know that it must be, but there's nothing worse than pain. So I do feel sorry for you that you're going through that pain for sure, that it's taking longer because obviously it's frustrating. Charmaine, you rest up, I guess, the rest of the night because we'll see each other tomorrow again on the live about Russell Williams.
Oh, I can't wait for
So
that one.
go take your medicine and pass out, get some good sleep. And Aspen Connor, Adam, I guess you're my favorite American that I love the most. God, opinions are like assholes, aren't they? No, just kidding. But no, I love you, buddy. You know that. And
Thank you.
yeah, and I'm sorry that we have a lot more ketchup chips over here. Love is free, but time is money, Sonny. No. Let's just stick to the first part of that message there. Anyways, you guys, thank you guys so much. Have a great night. See you tomorrow for the Canadian Live if you're going to join us. And
7 p.m. EST, 4 p.m. Pacific time.
Oh,
night,
thank
guys.
you.
Take care. This is Sunny Justice and Aspen Connor from It's a Crime and Shame, wishing you all a good night.